Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Live. It is Wednesday. I apologize. 5 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. But the man down there, Frankie Frezko, has his stuff he needs to do today. What You Talking About airs later on tonight. Frankie Frezko, how you doing, sir?
Is it me or is the sound a little bit off?
Is my sound off?
Yeah, it sounds like you were like far away.
All right, then. Hold on a minute. I had to replace my microphone, so hold on a minute.
Let's see.
And it is picking up my webcam. Why is it doing that?
Yeah, I think it sounds. Yeah, it does sound like if you had your webcam. That's what it sounds like.
How's this sound?
Oh, there you go. Now we got it working.
Because I fixed it on O's, and I guess it doesn't automatically switch over to mine. So, live and learn. All right.
Now you sound lovely.
It is Tuesday, 5 p.m. I am Sean Stanley. The man downstairs is Frankie Frezko. And, of course, tonight it is Wednesday, not our normal night of Tuesday. So I thank you, everybody's tuning in with us. And then also I thank the great Frankie Frezko for adjusting to be here tonight. He's got his show. Let me talk to you.
Maybe.
Brother Nick.
Maybe.
I apologize. Maybe there's another show after this.
Maybe.
We'll figure it out. We'll let you know. I apologize. I did not know. I was just trying to.
So let me tell you, and welcome everybody. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to subscribe. So what's going on is, this is the thing. Me and my brother are really tired as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
I can imagine.
We had a lot of fun. I can tell you guys this. We went to the soccer game on Monday.
And when they say they went to the soccer game, hold on a minute. Hold on. They went to Houston. It's not like they went to the game that was here in Miami. No. They went to Houston to watch their country play. Not like they went down the street to watch a game. No, they traveled and everything else. Go ahead, sir.
So we went to Houston. Our flight got delayed on Tuesday night, so we got back to Miami like around, I would say, around 11:30ish, sometime around there. So it kind of sucked. I remember half of the game. The other half, I have no idea what happened. I woke up at midnight yelling at my brother saying, "Did the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup Finals?" And he told me yes. And then I made my way to the restroom probably for like at least a good 2 hours. Finally was able to recover, and then I was able to eat something late night munchies because my stomach had d- literally release all the alcoholic fluids that I had in my system. I think I had too much fun.
You
But like I
think?
said, at least I was able to remember one half of the game. The other half, I don't know what to tell you. But I do have video. I'm not gonna show it today. So we were gonna do. Let me talk to you. We're gonna try to make a decision. I don't know yet. My brother's tired. I'm tired.
Yeah,
I
no.
told Sean, I was like, Sean, I'm still gonna do the podcast today for the wrestling. So I was like, I'm gonna. And then I also have to pick up my dog. I have been doing. And it's
Okay.
been raining. It's freaking pouring here. So I hope I don't.
But my
lose
fault. I
connection.
was trying to make sure I gave your show the plug because you went around and did circles so you could be here for me. So I want to make sure that you get your stuff. Oh, look at him. The MJF Lone Wolf t-shirt.
Yes, sir.
Or the Wolf of Wrestling, right? It's the Wolf of Wrestling. They called him the Lone Wolf, and then he changed it to the Wolf of Wrestling.
I hope you guys like the shirt.
I like it, my man. And
But I do want to talk wrestling though. So
no. Yeah, we're going to talk wrestling. A lot of wrestling to talk to, actually. We're only going to go probably to about 6:30. Okay, we're going to keep Frankie's time today down to
that means we're gonna go to like 9. Okay.
Yeah, probably. We'll probably still be talking tomorrow when it goes live at the casino. I'll be like, oh, I gotta go set up. I'll be right back. But there is a tremendous amount going on. And also, we appreciate you for listening to us on X. If you don't mind, when you get a chance, and if you're jumping over to YouTube, hit the Stanley Media House Network, subscribe, then go to the Frankie Frezko YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe, and please give us both a follow. We would greatly appreciate both. And, of course, we got Cat for Life and everybody in the chat. Today's show, I didn't even put in the title because I was trying to think real quick. I lost track of time. I was working on videos and stuff. I want to start here. And sorry, didn't mean to throw the mic down. I want to start today on SmackDown. Huh?
We're so off today.
Oh, it's Wednesday. I'm not used to doing this on Wednesday, man.
With the mic and before I was very close to falling asleep. And then I was like, oh my God, I gotta do the show.
You know what? No, I was about to text you and I saw you pop in. I was like, dude, not another Taco Bell run, right? Come on, man.
Nah, we're good.
But let's start with SmackDown. And the guy that quit on Raw shows up to SmackDown. Didn't even put this in the title, which probably should have led. Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Chicago. He cost him the title in his hometown. He lays him out and bloodies him in his hometown. Takes the bracelet that's worth like $1.50, but it's got AJ and Larry's name on it. Your thoughts on this latest development in the CM Punk Drew McIntyre storyline?
Personally, for me, it was heartbreaking, man. It was not the way I wanted the CM Punk storyline to go, but it makes sense because obviously he screwed Drew McIntyre in his hometown. It only makes sense for him to return the favor in CM Punk's hometown, right? So, but for me, it was painful. It was painful to watch. I did not get to watch SmackDown live. I saw the replay. I had a very busy weekend.
Yes, you did.
I was DJing on Friday as well. During this, I was watching when I was doing the casino DJing. I called the casino, so shout out to Call the Casino. If you ever guys want to go to a casino, you go there as well. Besides Hialeah Park one, but they have the screens there, so I was watching it at the same time while I was watching the hockey game. And man, it was just unfortunate, man. It was heartbreaking for me. As soon as I saw it, I kind of told myself, I don't know if I should watch the whole SmackDown rerun because I was upset. It was hard for me, man. It's hard for me to see CM Punk get hurt like this, and it's just
Look like he got shot in the head.
yeah. I mean, it was just terrible. And then
he had the same injury that Chad Gable had.
And then he drops him on the floor, like, and you hear boom, and I'm like, oh my god!
You know what I was saying? I was thinking about this. I was writing my notes, and I said, I found it odd that you never really saw him really, like, take a shot at CM Punk. Like, no physicality. You hear it. The door opens. He's standing over him. He picks him up, carries him to the ring, but then I forgot about the drop. Because I was thinking like, oh, well, maybe CM Punk's not really cleared. But when he dropped him like that, he's got to be cleared at that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because like my whole thinking was this was set up because maybe he's close enough to be cleared for SummerSlam, so they've got to continue the storyline. But they wanted it to be something else because you never saw him physically like punch him or throw him against the wall or throw him against the door or anything like that. You heard all the commotion. Then it raises up and he's just standing over CM Punk's body. And then he carries it past, you know, the wrestlers that were arguing and right out to the ring. And I forgot about, he just kind of dropped him.
And you heard him.
And you heard it. And so if his tricep is still like damaged and he's not cleared, I don't think that would have happened. I think they would have taken him all the way to the ring, laid him on the canvas and kind of rolled him and then stood over him. That's my thought. Again, I don't know anything. I haven't heard either way if Punk is cleared or not. As far as, you know, really, but that was, I guess you could call that physicality because they did have a producer with that segment. Usually any segment that's got physicality has a producer beside it so that somebody basically gets held accountable for what goes on out there. So I guess that's where they say the physicality, but I like the step. And then Drew shows up on Raw, kind of, you know, cuts his promo and it just, again, to me, it is so funny how like this is picking up fire and they're not even really like, how many times have they've been face to face, honestly, like since WrestleMania, the of course the other night. And then when he cost him the title.
Probably. Yeah, because remember when they were going at it, talking.
CM Punk you're right. They were one time, but he was way up in the bleachers, and then he came down, and then CM Punk came to the ring, and he was up there. So I guess technically that's a face-to-face. But a lot of this has been just carried on without the two of them even really being on the same show.
Yeah.
It's just been crazy because I guess it goes to show you when you have two guys that I guess understand what they want out of something and they can bring it out, you know, Drew and CM Punk, that they can make it happen. And that's what you're seeing here, I believe. And, you know, because again, it hasn't lost. If anything, it's picked up more. And now I think it's going to really like catch fire with the two of them actually getting a little bit physical. Because I think at this point, though, you had to have that happen or Drew just looks stupid.
But
because CM Punk has been getting everything over on Drew. He cost Drew the title. He cost Drew the title twice, actually. You know, once in his hometown, once in front of his wife and family at WrestleMania. And now CM Punk goes home. I think they did it perfectly by letting him open the show, get the fans like, you know, in a frenzy and everything. And then now you attack them. And now you bring him back out to those same fans that were going crazy. And he lays down, you know, the beat up CM Punk.
Was this also the first time that we saw CM Punk with Paul Heyman? Was this the first time? I think so, right?
This has been the first time. Yeah. And I was going to get into that more with the bloodline, but yeah. And man, did they add layers onto the bloodline? I mean, we could kind of go into that now because I think we covered really where we could go with Drew and CM Punk before we see where they go from here. He called his dog ugly. I mean, you never call CM Punk's dog ugly. If anybody follows him on Instagram,
absolutely,
you know that you shouldn't do that to Larry.
How dare
So,
they?
but we'll see where they go with that. But I think they have done this very well with the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, especially with CM Punk not being able to do anything.
Yeah. And my question to you is, when is CM Punk coming back? Is he coming back on Monday? Or do we not see him until Money in the Bank? Because Drew McIntyre is
I
now
don't
in that
think,
match for the Money
yeah,
in the
I
Bank.
don't know if you'll see him at I mean, again, they've got to draw this. Like
And you can't tell me that you can't see him right away, because look at Chad Gable. He was
well, no,
back.
I was amazed that Drew McIntyre showed up at the SmackDown. It makes sense after watching everything that happened. But I was kind of like, okay, he quit. Now he'll disappear for a couple weeks. You kind of forget about everything, and then boom. But the fact that, like you're saying, it's CM Punk's hometown, it just made all the sense in the world to do what they did. Knowing CM Punk, it was announced before, it was announced. And again, that's another thing that I wonder. Like, again, the little eggs that WWE give you at the presser. CM Punk says, I've already been cleared not to be at Raw, but I will be at SmackDown in my hometown. Drew McIntyre comes out on Raw, does his thing. CM Punk's not there. What do you want me to do? I quit. And then I thought they would kind of let it go down, because I didn't think it's going to happen at Money in the Bank. It's going to happen at SummerSlam. But now I wonder, like, do they put Drew in a match? Not Money in the Bank, but another match or something, and then I just think that would be overkill right now. I think you just keep them both off. But you might maybe cut a promo or something and have them interact in the back or so. I mean, I just don't know that you want to give too much before you give the main entree, which is going to be at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I just don't think CM Punk will be back. I mean, here's the question.
And maybe that's what they did. Maybe they did write him off with that beat up, and to give him, like, another 4 weeks out, and then come back in a month and attack Drew to lead up to SummerSlam. You know what I'm saying?
But is he going to attack a Drew that actually wins the Money in the Bank and has the Money in Bank in his pocket? Or does he attack a Drew that has no Money in the Bank? Because that's what is up on the line on Monday, when he's going to be competing to try to get into a Money in the Bank match.
So we might, but again, I think what's going to happen now, and again, maybe CM Punk does show up and it's going to be the one-up thing, or like you're saying, yeah, maybe they let him win that match, qualify for Money in the Bank, keep CM off TV, and Money in the Bank, he ends up costing Drew, and now he's cost Drew a third time.
Don't you think that would be too excessive, though? I think that would be too excessive. I
mean, I feel like, okay, Drew got 2 over on Drew. The first one was on Drew, because Drew could have just left and been the champion. Instead, he went to show off with his ego to CM Punk's face, and then CM Punk cost him.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, because Drew's been talking so much about CM Punk, he came out and cost him in his hometown. Then he did the promo and said Drew McIntyre will never hold a title as long as CM Punk is in WWE. Then Drew McIntyre lays out CM Punk, and now Drew McIntyre's going to try to qualify for Money in the Bank. I don't think it makes sense to cost him the match that leads to Money in the Bank. It would make more sense to cost him
in the Money in the Bank.
The big prize. Yeah, the big prize. It just doesn't make sense to me for the opportunity. Like, I cost you your opportunity. That doesn't seem big enough.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost a part to where, and I don't know how they can do this, and I can't remember how they did it before. They did the one angle, and I believe it was in the Attitude Era, where the cameraman on the outside was always, I can't remember who it was, but it was in the Hell in a Cell. And then when it came time, he struck. And I don't know, like, if it was, like if they ever used his as a legit camera angle or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see something like that where you don't even know it's necessarily, you'll figure out it's CM Punk, but it won't be, because it'll be like everybody's laid out. Drew's got to get to the title. It's easily Drew's. Drew's doing his Drew thing and, egotistically climbing the ladder. When he gets toward the top, he looks down and it's CM Punk holding the ladder, looking down at him, looking down, and they're going, and then he just pushes them off or pushes the ladder over. And then go from there. But again, after that, though, then Drew would have to get something over on CM Punk before the match. Because that'd be 3-1. If nothing else happens before then, is what I'm saying. I mean, if they do something else throughout, maybe it's a little different.
When is Money in the Bank?
July.
Is it right after 4th of July?
I want to say it's the 7th.
I don't remember. I'm just trying to see because if they, I want to know what's the gap between.
Money in the Bank is actually July 6th, Saturday, July 6th.
That's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that will give CM Punk 2 weeks to actually, I guess, recover from the hit on Friday, which is reasonable.
And then it would give you almost a month. August 3rd in Cleveland Brown Stadium is SummerSlam.
Yeah,
So
I think
July 6th to August 3rd would give your SummerSlam.
I wouldn't mind CM Punk accosting Drew McIntyre in the Money in the Bank match, and even though he has the upper hand over CM Punk, that would lead up to eventually them kind of going back and forth leading up to SummerSlam. And then personally myself, I honestly feel Drew McIntyre would beat CM Punk at SummerSlam because if he has the upper leg 4-1 or something like that, or 3-1, it would make sense that Drew McIntyre.
I'd have to see that build up because again, in this build up, I don't think that CM Punk has to win this. CM Punk just gets the last. Drew could beat him, and then maybe he stands over him, keeps talking, whatever, and then CM Punk gets the last laugh too. You know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't mean that I don't think I agree with you. I don't think CM Punk
and they could tease us.
Win. Yeah,
they could tease us here and there, just like AEW teased us with MJF and Will Ospreay. And I think that would work on the WWE side, where leading up to it, they tease us here and there of who's going to probably have the upper hand, and then eventually once they meet, then you decide who is going to do it, and you could run it back afterwards if Drew McIntyre beats CM Punk. The thing is, it just depends. It wouldn't be a clean victory either for Drew McIntyre, I think, if he was to face CM Punk at SummerSlam. So
no, but then you might also see who maybe the next in line to first CM Punk would be, if they do it that way, or maybe Drew gets a partner. Because they've been doing a lot of the Drew and Sheamus thing again. Sheamus has been losing. Do they bring Drew and Sheamus back together, and then CM Punk needs to find a partner?
You could do that.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could see something like that because you saw it the other day. I forgot what it was, when it was. It was before he quit, of course. But when he came in, he's like banger after banger after, and they were doing that instead of the burger after burger. Remember, Drew was cutting the promo on Sheamus about you look like you've been eating burger after burger. Now they went back to banger after banger and kind of talking to each other. I wonder if they're trying to bring that back together to where now Drew has backup, or Drew starts getting some backup to where, and then go from there. But then also it'll give that other layer to where CM Punk now, and now you've got tag team matches to where it doesn't have to be one-on-one.
Yes, sir.
But hey, we'll see what happens. Also, the Bloodline, they got a new member. Jacob Fatu.
Another one.
Arrives. And then there's Leo is still on the way. And I believe he's part of Tonga Leao and Tamatonga's family. So this is the interesting thing that I have for you. And this goes into the Paul Heyman thing. We saw Paul Heyman interrupt CM Punk at the beginning of SmackDown, and I was like, oh, this is going to get good. And, of course, he comes out there and he tells them, Solo was asking you to leave, and he says, I got one favor for you guys. EA Minutes, how you doing, my friend? And he says, okay, Paul, if I do this favor for you, or if I do this, what are you asking for? And he said, take me with you. And I was like, damn, bro, did they really just do this? Like Heyman's like, I'm out, dog. I'm out. And then you get to the back and he's like, we need to talk. Go get Tonga and tell them Orton and KO don't qualify for their matches, which of course they didn't. And then we need to talk. Me and you, we need to talk. Then Cody saves CM Punk with the bats, of course. They do the whole thing. And Cody challenges the great Solo Sikoa to a match on SmackDown. And people were very upset that the match didn't end with a pinfall. I'm not sure why you thought you were going to get a pay-per-view main event style match on a WWE show. Maybe on the other 3 letters you might have gotten that, but not on this one. You're not getting that here. And then before the entrance, Solo is talking to Paul Heyman. And he says, Paul, I'm sorry to tell you, Roman is not coming back. And then he goes and leaves. And Paul Heyman's sitting there and he's like, what do you mean he's not coming back? And then he followed him out. The match goes on. Of course, here comes Tama Tonga and Tongalea. They get beat down by Orton and Kevin Owens. Cody, Solo Sikoa begging off in the corner. Drops his hand down and gives the evil smile. The crowd at that point is making noise, so you know something's happening in the back. And then it's super kick, and Jacob Fatu is taking everybody out. Your thoughts when you saw it, my friend?
Hey man, I was, we kind of knew he was gonna come on board.
Yes.
Like it's just a matter of time. They've been kind of like pushing it all this time, and
And also, by the way, he's been signed since WrestleMania.
yeah. So we were talking about. You've been mentioning a lot more than I have.
Yeah, well, because I was amazed that he wasn't really the first one. Because to me, and I don't mean this as a slight to any of them, to me, Jacob Fatu is what Umaga was. He's got it all. He's got the athleticism. He's got size. Somehow this guy can do freaking moves that some small guys can't do. So I thought you would see that sooner, and I was wrong. But it's going to be interesting now. It's going to be interesting because you still have Hikuleo, who just left New Japan, coming in. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's the brother to Tama Tonga and Tongalea as well.
Now, how long can they go with this? Like signing all these together?
A while, bro. Man.
How much can this carry on? Because are they gonna be excessive? If it's gonna be too much excessive after a while and be like, yo, you signed all these guys. And what do you do? Like at one point in time, okay, let's say they keep the bloodline for a while, for let's say about a year. What do you do afterwards with these guys? You understand me? Like that's a little bit of hey, do you split?
Yeah, but see, the good thing with them is like none of these guys are just being signed because they're Samoan. They can all work. They all have, it's not like, hey, we're just signing these guys because we need them in the moment. They can move them up. And I think Jacob Fatu ultimately could be a game changer, man. He could be a real game changer in this when he does everything. But the interesting thing that I saw, and I saw this not from us, look, we know how wrestling, magazines are and everything. They're all, nobody has the right thing because everything can change and everything else. But I saw this from somebody that has been right more than wrong and some other things. What if Jacob Fatu, and the reason I say is because, again, as I said before, Hikuleo is brothers to, I believe, Tama and Tonga. What if Jacob Fatu was sent by Roman Reigns to protect Paul Heyman?
That would be a good storyline, because right now I don't see Roman Reigns coming in anytime soon, especially after, unfortunately, his passing of his father.
Yeah,
I don't see him coming in. At first I thought maybe this was an angle that eventually would lead up to Roman coming back quicker than before. But
that's
now
where I think you might be wrong, man.
I don't know, man, because I think Roman. Do you think you're going to see Roman by SummerSlam?
I think we see him at SummerSlam. Not saying he's going to be in a match. Maybe it's at the end, and his music hits, and then he just comes out and at the top of the stage, and is there.
Yeah, because they already announced it's gonna be a 3-on-3 for
at Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Yeah,
But I think that's where the Hikuleo, I think that's where he might show up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think you don't bring Roman Reigns out at Money in the Bank in Toronto. I'm sorry, you bring him out for one of the unless your objective is Roman to be in a match at SummerSlam. Now, if he's going to be in a match in SummerSlam, then you might do again, not to get involved. The very end of the match, the Bloodline they win because I believe the Bloodline will probably win this. That's why it's a 6-man. They're all going to raise their fist, and as soon as they do, Roman Reigns' music hits, and Roman just walks out to the front of the stage. And you've got the Bloodline, the new Bloodline with Solo Sikoa in the ring, doing that, looking up the ramp, Paul Heyman in the middle, and Roman walking up at the front.
I think what WWE should do with Roman is they should kind of throw like little hints if he's coming back. So, like, for example, like...
Yeah, but you don't do that, man. Look at Seth Rollins, for instance, bro. On
That's
Raw.
true. That's
on
true.
Raw, it was like, dude, on the thing, Sean Ross Sapp, anybody that follows Fightful, they send out the little cheat sheet that they ask everybody not to throw out. It said Damian Priest interview. That's all it said.
No, but
it had no mention of Seth Rollins going to be there.
Yeah, but the reason they wouldn't mention Seth Rollins because he's not in a group, he's not in a bloodline. Roman is involved with the bloodline, so I think cool things that would they could kind of like make it spicy is like, for example, you know how Paul Heyman would always say call Roman Reigns or something like that. Paul Heyman grabs his phone and he looks at it. He's like, he has a missed call and it says missed call by Roman Reigns. Little things like that start to create that buzz of like.
It would have to do it that way because you just had Solo say Roman's not coming back.
Correct. That's what I would
like. The only way you
to
do it is the phone's ringing. Solo yells at Paul, leave the phone there and let's go.
Yeah.
And then it says missed call Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
or something like that. Like it's got to have to be those kind of eggs if they do that, because
or he snatches the phone from Paul Heyman.
Not coming back.
Or he snatches the phone from Paul Heyman and doesn't let him answer the phone. Something that like
yeah, but then I think then you give up that Solo. No, you're giving up a little bit on where you're going with the angle. I think if Solo doesn't know that he's calling, then Solo still is Roman's not coming back. Because is Roman the one that told Solo, I'm not coming back?
That's what we want to leave it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, though. But if he grabs the phone and he knows Roman's on it and snatches the phone away, then he's lying, is what I'm saying. Because why would he not, answer it or whatever?
Or he could go ahead and grab the phone and look at it, and then grab the phone, look at it, and then be like, "Wait, hold on!" And like he'd be like, "No," something where he Paul Heyman comes and Paul Heyman's like, "Who was that?" It was nobody, and then all of a sudden Paul Heyman's like, "Okay," and he walks away, and then you see Solo kind of like shell shocked. Oh my god, like this guy called, something like that as well. You could do something.
But if you did that, then you need to do that like the go home show to the pay-per-view, because then it leaves the thing of, oh, okay, maybe he'll show up at the pay-per-view.
Correct.
You don't do it leading, like, what I'm saying, like they're like, or for instance, do it that way.
You like the idea though, right?
No, I like that idea that way because it makes sense that way, as long as Solo is not, ratting on himself in a way. Because if he does see it's Roman and he's like, oh, then that he's what he just said on SmackDown was, which in the storyline, I think we all know it's not right, not true, or whatever. But you got to leave a little bit to the imagination, I think.
That'd be cool. Also, like if Solo
everybody's got a different way. Some people like it just being, just read it out. I like to read between the tea leaves and to the imagination to where, oh, you know what? I didn't see that coming. Or, oh, I thought they were going to go that way, but they went that way. Okay. I don't want it just, okay, here's what we're doing next, guys. I don't want it that way. I'd rather guess, because, for instance, like what you were saying was, Paul leaves the room but leaves his phone.
Yeah.
He picks it up. It's Roman calling. He kind of gets that nervous look.
Yeah.
Cancel. And then delete, puts the phone back down. Paul never knows he called.
Correct.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then he just goes back to normal. So he looks worried when he's looking at the phone, but then Solo, the evil guy, gets in. I delete it. Nobody knows he's called now. Oh, gone.
I would like them to involve the phone because they could even go a different angle too. They could even say that Paul sees the phone is ringing, and he's gonna grab it, and then all of a sudden Solo snatches it, or one of the other family members of the bloodline snatches it, throws it on the floor, and steps on his phone and breaks the phone. And then you're like, what is going on here?
How about this with that? On that, I was thinking of this. So he does that, right? And they leave. This is a go-home show. We'll say to Money in the Bank. We'll just say Money in the Bank this time. So they do what you just said. Boom. They get in the car and drive away. The bloodline. Everybody that's involved in the bloodline. Boop, they drive away. Before it goes off the air, what if Paul Heyman just reaches in his jacket, pulls out a second phone, call Roman Reigns, and it goes off?
You can do
and
that.
The show ends.
It's doable, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they could do this for a while because, again, you can always have the civil war within the bloodline. It becomes its own said thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because what if the three that right now, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Leao, turn on Solo, which not going to happen, but I'm saying down the line, they turn on them. And now all of a sudden the three brothers are beating, and actually not even Jacob Fatu, take him out, put Hikuleo in there, because I think, like I said, I believe he's a legit brother to them. What if they start beating up on Solo and the Usos come out to save their brother? Now you've got brothers versus brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, down the line, nothing happening today or tomorrow or whatever, but now it's adding layers on top of it. Again, remember, they said we were in the third inning, and I laughed at it. I was like, there's no way it's the third inning. Once Cody wins the belt, it's done. Roman's going to take time off. And let me tell you something. It started out, and I was iffy on it, man. But Solo lately has come into his own as far as being the lead, like a leader. Like, before, I felt like he was
trying too hard.
Maybe he was trying too hard, or maybe they were trying to make it look like he was trying too hard. Whatever it was, it just wasn't working, man. Now this Solo works.
Yeah, it's working.
This Solo works almost like he's gotten rid of the tough guy persona and become more of the cocky, egotistical guy. He's not trying to be that guy that I'm just going to kick everybody's ass anymore. No, that's not me. Yeah. Now I got to be the leader. I'm thinking. I'm steps ahead. And now it feels like maybe that's the story they're trying to tell. Solo losing that killer mentality to become, a psychological leader or whatever. Now he's gone out and got people that are crazier than him, because that's the story they're telling. Like, oh my, now he's brought in Jacob Fatu. This guy nobody wanted to touch. This guy's the same thing they've said for each one as they brought him in. So, it just goes to show you that, again, a lot of this stuff is laid out and just being built on, man. And it's, to me, that's what I love about pro wrestling is it's episodic TV, yes, but also each episode has got to kind of build off of a little bit of, not every storyline is going to build every time, but there should be some, a storyline that's going to keep growing as it's going. For instance, on Raw right now, it's the Alpha Academy. It's Chad Gable. Now it's with the Wyatt Six. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chad Gable has become that storyline throughout. On top of the other ones. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking the main event ones. I'm talking about, the mid-card ones that keep you kind of intrigued to see what's going on. Because you're always going to have Liv and Judgment Day. You're always going to have Damian against whoever his opponent is, Cody against whoever his opponent is. It's about building up the other ones that keep you interested for the other hour and 45 minutes.
Well, now that we're jumping into that side.
Yep.
What do you think is gonna happen? What is the Wyatt family, the Wyatt Six obsession with Chad Gable? Like, what is the logic behind that? Why are they targeting him in particular. I'm trying to remember, he didn't have anything with Bray Wyatt
No, but
before
I don't
anything.
know that they're necessarily targeting him. I thought
What do you mean?
But listen,
They came out to him.
they came out with him in the ring. He left.
Yes.
He left.
Did leave.
And then Nikki Cross goes to the table.
Yes.
Gives her the VHS tape. They play the VHS tape, and it was more of an introduction to the character of Bo Dallas or what he's about. Kind of like, and again, what's interesting to me on this whole thing now, and like, again, the more I think about it and the more I go down that rabbit hole on X, and I really stay off Facebook because I don't believe any of the stories they put on there. But when you get it like at X and YouTube and things like that, and you start looking at some of the ideas of people that have a lot more time than I do.
Or that we do.
Or
that we do.
No, we do. Exactly. So when I look at it, it's like, it's interesting because I was like, why Dexter Lumis? Why Joe Gacy? Why Nikki Cross? But then when they come out and they're like, you tried to forget about us. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things to that to where they kept them off TV on purpose so that it built this whole storyline. We were forgotten. You're not going to forget him. You know, like it's starting. It's that whole thing to where. Go ahead.
But that's why I just don't think them targeting Chad Gable is just like a once in a life thing type of. There's something behind that, and I think
I really night when the Creeds came up to him after Otis was like, "I'm sorry about that and this and that, but we're done with you." Didn't he say, "I need a new family"?
He did say that. Oh, I think he did.
There was something along those lines. I was trying to look, but then I saw it was getting too late. I believe he says, "I need a new family," as it's going back to the crowd, back out to Michael Cole.
Correct.
So maybe. I'm wondering, again, if you look at what the Wyatt 6 is about, and you kind of brought this up, I believe, last week. Like, what if Chad Gable becomes a part? I mean, people took it extreme and said, "Oh, Chad becomes a zombie and he's part." Not that, but what if he doesn't have a family and they're the only ones that'll have his back? And I'm not saying it's going this way, but I believe this is kind of the way they're bringing them in. Because if you watched it, like the other night with the Bo Dallas and dude, I mean, if that didn't tug at your heartstrings a little bit when he's talking about, losing my brother and we were going to do this together and take over and I won't let them forget. Like, man, if that doesn't get you emotionally kind of invested in this right now, and if they do that for each character and it goes through, and to me, I also thought about this. I think Tony Khan made a mistake by not signing Eric Rowan. Because if Eric Rowan is not in this, the legacy's not there. It's just Bo Dallas and three WWE guys.
No, but Tony Khan, he hasn't dropped the ball. He's gonna sign Shane O'Mac, sir.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We'll talk about that.
He might, but I don't know what's he gonna do. Blow out his other quad. But anyway, so we digress. So when you look at it, it's like that allowed the legacy with Eric Rowan being there. The legacy of the Wyatt family. Of course, Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy. And now you're bringing the other three that were forgotten. You forgot about us. You all the other QR codes that they've said. And now it's slowly rolling out. And I thought it was crazy to me that everybody, there was like, and when I say everybody, there was about 10 or 15 consistent critics on X saying, why did they just have Nikki come out? Why didn't they come out and kill Chad Gable again? Like, I mean, what do you think every week they do is shoot Chad Gable every week? I believe Chad Gable has been a focal point of theirs just to give them something to focus on. So when you see Chad Gable, you start thinking, oh, okay, the Wyatt 6 is probably going to appear somehow. And I think next week they bring another VHS tape, and let me tell you something. Using a VHS tape, that's long-term storytelling, my friend. Because I don't know when the last time anybody had a VHS tape was, but that'd be back in the Blockbuster days.
I'm gonna say something. Number one, I like the fact that they put Chad Gable in this, and I think this was a strategic move by Triple H as to why he was able to re-sign Chad Gable. I think they're gonna try to elevate Chad Gable even more, and I think Chad Gable is gonna take that next step eventually. I think this is the first baby steps before you elevate him to like something bigger than just being a mid-level guy. Second of all, I like the idea of them giving a story of each one. That is a good thing I like. So you have Bo Dallas, obviously now they go ahead and they do like a story behind, I don't know, Nikki Cross, let's say, or the other one, or
I think Nikki Cross will be the last one, just because I think she's going to be the deliverer of all the mess. And again, now I don't do this every time. Like all of a sudden she crawls in the ring, and maybe different ways.
I don't think you should do a cassette for the second time. I think what would be pretty cool is that, maybe somebody is watching the TV and then all of a sudden, as they're watching the match, the screen kind of like freezes out, and then it's all of a sudden an interview or like something.
Yeah, watching backstage, you mean, and then all of a sudden it turns in, and then you go into the screen, kind of like, okay.
Like I want them to change it up. Don't always be like a tape or anything like that. I want it to be different little things.
I think it was a tape, and again, thoughts and prayers go out to Pat McAfee, his wife's family, on the passing of his father-in-law. I believe the tape was going to be more than what it might have been if Pat McAfee was there. Because remember, they were doing the little things. TKO, ESPN have the partnership. You saw it on his show. I believe it was on the 2 to 3 hour, which is actually on YouTube only, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
They do 2 hours in ESPN, and I think they do an extra hour on YouTube.
Yeah, which I think all this crazy stuff with the Wyatts and the QR codes and things were happening 2 to 3. I think there was going to be more involved in that, I believe. Because remember, he said you lied on the Pat McAfee show. So my thought was, what if they, you have it on that part, because it felt like it was zooming out as Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy are sitting in the chairs. It looks like it's kind of zooming out at the end of the tape, and then they cut it. And it went out. What if they would have zoomed out and it was at the basketball court at McAfee's show?
I didn't think too much into that.
Because they're gonna end up trying to incorporate it with ESPN and things like that.
I do feel that they're gonna incorporate it with Pat McAfee, because they did mention that the box did have Pat McAfee name on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was one thing, and obviously it kind of led, because obviously they had just announced that Indianapolis had gotten SummerSlam Royal Rumble.
Yeah, there was a lot leading up to that. Yes.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate Pat McAfee couldn't not be there, but maybe they involve Pat McAfee in it in one way or another, or maybe they'll carry it on eventually on his show. But yes, I do feel like there's more to it, and I think that would be a smart move for them to involve it with ESPN.
Yeah, look how many viewers you get. Just even if you do it just on the YouTube show, there's tens of thousands of viewers that are and it's,
and a lot of people don't tune. Like I tune into the Pat McAfee show for the first 2 hours. I don't tune in to his third hour on YouTube,
which maybe is why they're doing that on the third hour, just to get people to start zooming in.
Yeah, but if you do that, then I'm gonna start tuning into YouTube and go watch it, because I used to watch the 2 hours on just a YouTube show before he moved to ESPN. So, but I there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different things they could do. I like
the fact that this episode didn't have what the last episode had, though.
Correct.
It didn't need to have that same ending. That every week you can't just destroy the locker room. It's like
facts.
People were like, "Oh no, they should have laid everybody." Dude, first off, this happened in the 9 o'clock hour. If they do that, what do you do for the next hour and 30 minutes? Bo Dallas sitting at the thing with Uncle Howdy just pushing buttons. I don't understand how people think, how they get lost in what is reality of pro wrestling.
Now, what I do feel that should do is that they should keep on with the Wyatt 6, but in the other shows. I think they should bring him into NXT. I think you should bring him into SmackDown.
Yeah, but I agree with you in a way, but also I look, Less is more, man. Less is more. Like, you know what I didn't realize? Did you know they had the rabbit in the scene before they struck?
No, I didn't notice that.
It was in the back. Somebody pointed this out when they're walking, and it made sense when Drew McIntyre quits, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are they showing? They're showing that area that gets destroyed, right? Then they follow him out, the same area that gets destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Saying like they showed you exactly, if you go back and you think about it, they showed you exactly where, even Drew going back to the curtain shows you where they're going to lay the bodies at when all this happens. If you go back and watch it now and you remember how everything was set up, they showed you in, not necessarily, they didn't say like here, but they showed you that there's nothing wrong with this backstage area. And then just like 20 or 30 minutes later was when the music hits and everything else.
Man, you guys are going in depth. Like when I watch the show, I don't look at it like all that. But
I went down rabbit holes of people that had a lot of time, and I started watching. I'm like, man, dude, this is what I love about pro wrestling, though, is the storytelling and being able to get you to follow along without. It didn't register to me then about Drew McIntyre walking through the same area that they're going to show you destroyed in the next 3 segments.
That's impressive. I'm gonna have to start like noticing those type of little things even more, because I know there's some stuff, but I don't know things like
this is a new production team. People have to remember that. They got rid of the gentleman that was with them for the longest time through all of Vince McMahon and everything else, through the Attitude Era and everything. He left. Somebody else took over, and since then, it has just been, you start seeing what was really wrong with a lot of stuff, other than, the same matches week after week. But
or they realize that they gotta cater to newer generations, and one of the biggest draws that was for like my age group and the 20-year-olds and all that are probably now in their 30s or in their 40s and stuff like that was the Marvel world, and that's what they've done. And one thing that the Marvel
this guy came from that world. He's from that type of area.
How many people watched all the Marvel movies? Like, those movies were box office. So imagine if they and in every single Marvel movie, I don't know if you watch most of them. I watched all of them. There was always nuggets here and there. And talking about nuggets, Dominic Mysterio eating some nuggets out there as well.
Yes, on a silver platter.
Yeah. Yes. but
I think Cat for Life pointed out too earlier in the comments.
Yeah,
almost got those 89. Welcome in, and EA Minutes. Shoot me a DM. Go follow me, Sean_Stanley11. We'll give you a try out there. You can be one of the third podcaster guy. Why not?
Bring him on board.
We'll have a floating thing. We'll be like Liv Morgan's boyfriends. What the heck?
But let's talk about that now. Let's talk about Liv Morgan and Judgment.
Wyatt 6 thing, I think, again, I like where they're heading, just to put a bow on it. And I think we're on the same line. Let's let it play out. Let's see how it goes. I know you're saying you'd like to see him on other shows. I think right now, let's just stick it to Raw. That's where we'll disagree. That's where we'll disagree.
You want to know why I wanted to see it in different shows? Is because I found out, and I don't know how certain. I don't remember the who was the source, but they mentioned that SmackDown was going to go to 3 hours and Raw was going to go back.
Yeah, when it goes to Netflix, I heard that story. I haven't confirmed anything, but
so yes. if you're gonna go back to 2 hours for Raw, you have to. There's just too much going on right now in Raw, so you have to be able to spread it. And I think that
you have to remember those. They're not assigned to a thing.
That's why.
So you keep them on Raw and then boop, switch them over to SmackDown when you have to.
Yeah,
you've got different stories. The problem I got with this is, okay, you go from Raw to SmackDown. Now you're laying out people in the SmackDown locker room too.
You don't have to lay people in the SmackDown.
No, but but you're going to have to feud with people. Who do you feud with over there?
No. You don't have to feud people. You go and you
have to show up and be like, hey guys, we're the Wyatt 6.
No.
Like the picture they took at Whataburger. Hey guys, how
you doing? You turn off the lights or whatnot, or go backstage, and all of a sudden somebody's just walking. And again, like I told you, little things you could see. Maybe one of Bray Wyatt's.
You're saying you want to see teases on the different shows.
Yes,
okay.
yes. And then
I can go with teases and things like that. I just don't need to see them every week on every show.
Correct. You don't.
I can go with teases.
But if you want, because you could put the fun house. You remember Bray Wyatt's the what are they?
Firefly Funhouse.
Firefly house. Yes, that one. You could start putting them in like little things, and when people are walking, you're like, "What in the world is going on here?" So it's not only, and remember, the reason I say is because they did the QR code on Raw and SmackDown, so I think it makes sense to keep it going. Like, I don't think you need to basically create a feud with somebody in SmackDown, but at least have them, because then you could use them if you need to. And again, remember, there's injuries. Look at Cody. Cody came out on record saying that he broke his ribs on the thing. So I'm a little bit worried about Cody and what to expect from Cody and Monday Night.
They throw the 6
man. Of course, but you never know.
But my thing is this, okay? Like for me, I think back to the days when like the heels were like evil people as far as mastermind, playing out thoughts in their head. Like if I'm Paul Heyman, I tell Solo, like whisper in Solo's ear, hey, attack so-and-so, cut out the lights, put some red light in, do some stuff, make them think it's the Wyatt Six. Make them blame it on, the Final Testament with Karrion Kross. Like groups like that could use those things to their advantage. And the thing with Karrion Kross and the Testament, which could, depending on how you want to work it at, is that could be a group that they go face to face with, the Wyatt Six. So Karrion Kross could be like, oh, they're doing it's the Wyatt Six. And now all of a sudden you do a video one day and it's Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy being like, not so fast Karrion and playing out the things and things like that. So I'll give you that. Teasers, yes. I don't want to see like them showing up necessarily. Teasers, I can go with that. Let's jump in. Liv Morgan and the Judgment Day. Where the hell is this going to end up? This is a roller coaster. Going up, going down, and then it goes back up, and it goes back down, and it goes up. And now Carmella shows up on Raw, sweet talks R-Truth, tricks R-Truth into a tag team match, and Finn Balor has now won his 20th championship. We got new tag team champions. Did not see that coming. Not going to lie to you.
Liv Morgan, right? Liv Morgan was the one that talked.
But R-Truth said, I miss Carmella. When she walked away.
That's what, you're right. You're right about that. Yes. And you know what? I think the WWE got it right, because remember what I told you? I love the fact that R-Truth and Mike, the Miz, got the belts, but I just felt like they could not hold on and carry on to those belts for a long time. Their gimmick was they're funny, or in particular R-Truth. So I just felt like it wasn't good enough in order for them to have a long run. You gave R-Truth his moment. That was beautiful. But now I'm glad that they gave the belts back to Finn and to JD McDonough now. So now you have this whole saga, because not only do you have the whole Liv Morgan situation, but you also have Seth Rollins challenging Mr. Campeón and telling him to like, yo, you're gonna leave the Judgment Day. And
But did you hear the interview? Did you watch the interview? Did you get a chance to watch? I know you were traveling and everything else, so I don't know if you saw the interview, the back and forth between them.
Yes, I did. Yes.
When Damian says, I don't need the Judgment Day as much as they need me.
Yes.
I was like, yeah. I thought they were going to go I thought they were going to let it sit. I didn't know it was going to go to what, as you're referring to now, Seth's like, if I beat you, you leave Judgment Day. If I beat you, I'm basically the champ. I didn't know it was going to go that route.
Extreme?
Yes, because I was like, and you know what, though, was interesting to me on the whole thing? Was they gave both of them an out.
With Gunther, right?
Yes.
But
because I bet you at SummerSlam, you were right. I think you called this. It turns into a triple threat.
All right, so let's talk about this.
Gunther says it doesn't matter who's the best of you two, because you guys aren't better than me. When Gunther got in the ring and said, and then he walked away.
But do you think?
I feel like, there's no way to me Damian Priest loses and leaves the Judgment Day that way. if they're going to end the Judgment Day, it's got to be better than, oh, I lost the match, I'm out, guys.
This
With
is
all the build-up they've done, and especially now, Finn gets the title. Finn was always eyeing his title. You saw the little looks. You see, like, I feel like that if that is the way they go, I just feel like, oh, it could have been so much better.
This is the issue with this. I honestly do feel this is a way out for Damian Priest from the Judgment Day. But here comes the other caviar. And this is where I'm going with this.
Oh,
I might be completely wrong.
I'll listen to you first, and then
I might be completely wrong about this. But
I got it. I know what's gonna happen.
I think I have the fact that Liv Morgan, you got Finn Balor, JD McDonough.
Yep, big head.
Yeah. And Dominic Mysterio on one end. And then you see the return of Mommy, and you see her join forces with Damian Priest on the other end. And now you put in there a battle of these two. So now you have Liv Morgan, and you have maybe Finn Balor, or Liv Morgan and Rita. Something where it's going to be them against them. And they try to like see what's the better group or who deserves to be in the Judgment Day. Something like that will actually create a buzz. Because I honestly feel that Rhea Ripley is going to come back with like a lot of hate on the Judgment Day. I don't think she's coming back like, hey, I'm family, I'm loved. No, I feel she's gonna come with a lot of hate because they've been, they drop nuggets left and right.
So good for me. I love you, man.
There's too many nuggets out there. So I'm like, there's no way that she's gonna. So if Damian is out, then I just can't see her just jumping back into Judgment Day and just saying, yeah, everything's good, especially since Liv is in there. And look, the show ended with Finn Balor, Liv Morgan in the middle, and between a JD McDonough, all three of them.
Yeah, they kind of looked at her crazy, and then she lifted the belt up, and then they lifted their belts up, like
you're part of it, bro. Everything's working.
How about this? Because this will tie everything back in. Listen to this. What if Seth and Damian are battling, right? All of a sudden, a hoodie cost Seth Rollins the match, returning Rhea Ripley. Keeps Damian in the Judgment Day. Then they handle business on Monday, because I'm picturing the pay-per-view ending with Damian and Rhea in the ring, the returning Rhea Ripley. And then on Raw, you tune in because, oh man, mommy was back at Money in the Bank. She's going to be on Raw. Let's see what happens. And now you do that whole confrontation, however you want to, it's two, or, maybe they get in the ring and Rhea's after Liv, and Liv's like, do you think you guys have the numbers? And then they draw the line down, and who's crossing, who's what, like you kind of put that line in the sand, like, okay, whose side are you on? Where are we going? Which way are we going? But then also now, this is where I was kind of thinking more along the lines is, if she costs Seth with Damian, now you've got Damian and Rhea, which have always been very tight. We know their relationship, but now also you cost Seth the match. Who would be angry you costing Seth the match? A returning Becky Lynch.
Wow.
So
that
now
is true. You do
at
link it all together.
SummerSlam, it's Rhea versus Liv. And you can do whatever you want to do on however you want to do it. But what happens if you bring Becky back in?
It all
to
links
the fold
together.
there. It's a correlate. It's an evil web that we spin. Because again, this is what I love about wrestling. Becky could already be signed to AEW. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm saying I don't know, but this is what goes on in this mind as we're talking. That's what I love about pro wrestling, because none of this will happen. none of this could happen. Then I'll be sitting here mad, like, God damn it, Triple H, what's wrong with you, man? You don't listen to me. If you listen to me, we would have the #1 show in the world.
True, we would.
But you didn't, and I still love what you're doing because my way's not always the right way. But that's what I love about wrestling is that you can sit there and spin it to be like, oh, I really thought Roman Reigns was going to show up at a dark show to take on Brock Lesnar. Really? Did you? Okay. All right. Good for you. Because I never thought that was happening. They're not giving it to you for a house show payment. You're not getting Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. No.
Let me ask you this, because this is where everything links in perfect. But if Rhea if she comes back and she costs Seth Rollins the opportunity to win a belt, remember his end is I can never challenge for a belt. Right? That was the stipulation that it is.
Yeah, but I don't think as long as he's the champion.
I gotta look back.
I'll have to look that back up because then how about and you know what? You just made me think of something. What if Liv costs Seth? What if Rhea costs Seth? Becky costs Rhea. Liv stays the champion.
Yeah, it could happen.
But Seth now, and again, this is going off of what I think it was, as long as he's champion. Seth or Damian loses to Gunther, Seth's back in.
I don't remember if he said as long.
I hope they didn't do the Cody Rhodes rule. I mean,
that's what I thought he said.
If they did, then I think Gunther interferes and it turns into a no contest.
That would make the perfect sense.
And then neither one has to do anything.
And it doesn't hurt either one of them.
Doesn't hurt either one. That's what I think is honestly going to happen, which is why I say then if that happens, they set up a triple threat because what I think will happen is they'll do a storyline where Seth didn't get his opportunity and now Gunther's going to not get his opportunity one-on-one. It'll be 1-on-3, which in turn might make it even easier for Gunther to pin somebody and win the title.
Yep.
The other one I want to talk about real quick, and then we'll dive into AEW. Braun Breaker, man. He's going to take on Sami Zayn. I put out a poll, and it only got like 50 votes. It got 52 votes.
Hold on. Sorry. To cut it off. I found it online. It says the segment saw Rollins offer Priest a huge ultimatum, saying that if the champion retains, Rollins would never get a shot at the title again. If Rollins wins, though, Priest will be forced to leave the Judgment Day. So that was the stipulation.
Oh, it's a Gunther interference or something. They're going to do something where I can't see either one of those happen because that's the Cody Rhodes death rule.
That is in AEW.
Yeah, I mean it's like, wait, so your main guy, your main babyface, never gets a shot at the title again? Like,
I hope let's see if WWE knows what to do.
Yeah, let's see if they change that and be like, as long as you're champion, and then Gunther beats him. Because how about this? What if Seth costs Damian the title so that he gets another shot at the title?
This is the only thing. I can't see Seth losing. I mean, there's only two ways it would work out. If there's a no contest because of Gunther getting involved, or Seth wins, but then it leads out to that break where I told you, hey, Rhea comes back and now teams up with Damian
but to
Priest.
get out of the group that way, it's like
it is a little bit painful.
It's like you just said you don't need them. They need you more than them, which is why you really put it up because you were like, well, I don't need Judgment Day.
But he's been taking shots, so it makes sense for him to leave.
But my thing would be this. What if he won? What I'm saying is, what if he wins somehow? I don't know, again, because I don't understand how Seth can give up the title shots like this. So he wins, and then he goes back in, and the Judgment Day's like, oh, well, we don't need you. You said you don't need us. We need you more. No, we don't need you. We've got Liv. As you're saying, work it in. Be like, we don't need you. We got her. She got us the tag titles.
That's a good point.
She got Dom his match against Ray. What have you done for us?
You could bring that up this Monday, actually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You could start working that.
You could start working
and then you can start doing, because again, now it comes down to it. He thinks Judgment Day is going to come out to help him. And what if they stop? And he looks at him like, are you guys going to do something or no?
Or the Judgment Day costs him.
I don't know that they cost him, but they maybe he thinks they're going to do something. They don't do it. And then he hits a stomp on Seth, or Seth hits a stomp on him. And then they just sit there staring at him like, well, I thought you didn't need us. Looks like you needed us more than you thought. I mean, if they play that way, then I can see it be. I just don't want it to be like everything's hunky dory, and then all of a sudden he loses the match, and now the Judgment Day's over. Like I don't want it to do that. If you can spin it the way that they're doing all this, then yes.
Yep. No. It's just you have to spin it because
it's got to be something.
There got to be something. You just can't let him just walk out from the Judgment Day.
And I honestly don't think you can do a triple threat. I mean,
now, do you think him leaving out of the Judgment Day will hurt him, Damian Priest?
No, because I think the Drew McIntyre thing and this Seth Rollins thing has really elevated. And I kind of tweeted this out where I didn't think he was doing anything with his title reign. I felt like WWE was hurting him with the title reign. And these last two, watching him interact and grow as a champion, I think he's elevated himself up that ramp now to where I agree with what you said. If he loses a title, I believe now he can rebound from that. I don't think it's anything less than that. I think he has shown that he can handle his own in the last two go-arounds. Now, if they straight punked him out and he loses clean, I don't know. But if they do this thing to where he goes to face the Judgment Day, Finn and JD with Liv, and it's him and Rhea, and they elevate that up more, then yeah, I think you can keep it going. But if they just job him clean and like it's a stomp and 1, 2, 3 and Seth's your champion, like to me that shows you that they voted no confidence.
Sounds like Tua. Let's go with Braun Breaker, my friend.
Wow, just threw that in there, boy. Okay. Wow, Chris Greer there. Chris Greer on him. Okay, so I ran a poll. 52 people voted, and believe it or not, I asked who walks out of Money in the Bank the Intercontinental Champion. 52 people voted. What do you think the percentage was?
50-50?
50-50. Surprised the shit out of me.
It did. You know why it doesn't surprise me, man? Because I honestly don't know who would win that match. I think the momentum is riding high on Braun Breaker, especially how he's been destroying everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then you also have Sammy, who's always been able to overcome like these unstoppable obstacles. So it's really like, yo, who could actually win this? And I love the fact that they set this up because it's a match we haven't seen before. It's exciting, and to have him face to face, and then Sammy with the confidence, just book the match, bro, book it. I will go ahead and take him on. I think they could run with this, man, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Braun Breaker wins, but then Sammy challenges and gets a rematch or something.
Yeah,
like that.
And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with what you're saying. You could put it on Braun Breaker, and it doesn't hurt Sami Zayn at all.
No,
at all. But at the same time, the way, just think about how he beat Chad Gable. What happened? Chad Gable got distracted by Otis, went to the corner, haluva kick 1, 2, 3.
Correct.
Now, if somebody comes out, and again, I get the momentum that they've built with, but when you watched him face, I almost feel, and I know he's not going to show up at this because they haven't done anything. I felt like what they should be doing with Braun Breaker was having him kind of just stand over Samantha Irvin, like what Bubba said, every once in a while, and like take a look at the man that ended your man's career. Look at the man that ended your man's career. Just kind of throwing it at her face.
That would only work if Ricochet would come back.
Well, this was going to be my point. What if at Money in the Bank, because Ricochet's still under contract, I think he's under his 90 days. I don't even know when his contract expired, actually. He just said he wasn't renewing once it goes up. So I don't know when that is. But what if his music hit? He just walks out. Braun Breaker turns the look, haluva kick 1, 2, 3.
But see, the problem with that is you have to keep Ricochet in.
That would be.
And I don't think they're going to do that.
But at the same time, though, Now at least you have a reason. Braun Breaker could be like, I took my eye off the ball because of one guy. That guy's not here anymore. He's gone or whatever. However they want to go. But again,
it doesn't have to be Ricochet though.
I don't think that's happening because they've done nothing with Samantha Irvin to make it seem like that's been dropped kind of in a way where
I like the idea of somebody interfering. And the only people I could assume that would interfere would be Ludwig Kaiser.
He's out. Kaiser got injured.
Okay, and what about Sheamus?
You know, they've added Sheamus now, and then also Isla Dragunov. So you have those two that could be that person. I think it might be better to be like Sheamus because I wouldn't mind seeing that hard hitting contest. Sheamus against Braun Breaker.
I think it's good. Costing him
whatever it's going to do, it's going to lead from Money in the Bank, and then that way it doesn't hurt. And again, Braun Breaker could go in and throw Sami Zayn, takes a beating, gets beat, and then you're still like, well, he can come back. You know, Sami can do that. That we've seen Sami get beat down, and hell, that one match with Roman, you know, he gets his fire up. Everybody thinks he's going to win, then he gets beat down. I think he got beat for like 27 to 30 minutes of the match.
Yeah.
But everybody thought, you know, and he grew from it. So it's one of those things. And then let's see what else. Anything else WWE? Anything else WWE for you that you could think of?
I heard some stuff about this guy, Ricky Stark. He was trending earlier today. I don't know if it's because his contract is up or something's going on, but I heard that
there was a story that he did something about, I don't know, man. There's a crazy story.
Okay, because I was seeing that there were a lot of people were
commenting off AEW TV and like I don't know what to believe, and that's why I don't want to say a whole lot of it. If you look up Ricky Stark's AEW, it'll probably bring up that story. I don't type in that real quick if you can, Frankie. Just see what comes up.
Ricky Stark and AEW?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens. Or should I do it on X? Maybe it'll be better.
Let's do it on Google. I think that's where I did it.
Yeah, because he was trending like crazy in the wrestling world, and I was like, why is he trending? And then people were saying, yo, he's there's something going on. Hold on a second. It says clarification on Ricky Stark's rumored arrest and animosity with AEW. So I guess he had some issues with AEW. It says former AEW tag team champion Ricky Stark has been subject to much discussion. He has competed on since March 30th. Okay, however, much more has been said about Starks over the past few days, with the claims of legal troubles and attitude problems all flying around the rumorville. What the hell's the rumor? It said it all started with a now deleted Reddit post claiming that an intoxicated Starks caused trouble at a Calgary bar after his Owen Hart's Foundation tournament went. Oh,
that's not the one I heard.
So it says, so look what it says. It says the post was deleted due to no sources being linked, meaning that the claim couldn't be confirmed or denied. According to Fightful Select, there is a mix of rumor and truth in this report. As far as the alleged incident at the bar in Calgary is concerned, everyone in Fightful spoke to within AEW claimed that nothing of sort ever happened, and no one had heard of anything prior to the post of Reddit spreading around social media. Starks himself has claimed he was never in trouble, and his match with Top Flight on March 30th took place in Canada shows, and there was no legal issues. Apparently, Canadian authorities did not give any information. AEW higher-ups made no official comment, and all those alleged to be involved have directly denied anything taking place. Interesting. Do you think that is true? Do you think Ricky...
That's not even the crazy one that I read.
What did you read, sir?
I'm trying to see if I can find it now.
Because the other one, let me see. I do see some stuff here. Let me see. It says Ricky Stark has reportedly been frustrated with creative. You have that as well. And it says one source with more direct knowledge of the situation that the only pitch that can be confirmed to have been turned down by Starks with the disbandment of this tag team with Big Bill. Some have criticized Starks due to being a belief that he didn't want to do business, although it has been reported that the split ended up being more as Starks believed Big Bill losing the feud would be beneficial to the former WWE superstar, despite many in AEW believing it would make Starks a huge baby face and Bill even a bigger heel. Nothing in particular here. Just says that I guess he had some. So I don't see. This is more of a. No, this doesn't say. Yeah, it's just giving. Was that a Starks recent match against current? This is older. These are older news. But apparently that's the story and the buzz that was going on with Ricky Stark. Apparently he had some altercation at a brawl in a bar in Calgary, and that's why they kind of pushed him away.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, again, when you went out of your contract, you might do some crazy things.
Is he officially out of his contract?
No, he's not. My understanding is no, he's not. But if he keeps doing this stuff, will AEW be like, hey, you're not worth what it is, and let him go? Is he trying to get released from his contract so they can go somewhere else?
That's a possibility.
You know, it's one of those things because, and again, I know you talk NXT, and that's why I really didn't put NXT on the thing. But I would like to ask you this:
Do I believe in Joe Hendry? Of course, I believe in him, sir.
I was a little upset that it was only Joe Hendry and Kazarian. I was a little upset that it was only those two that showed up, by the way. And then this week,
his name. Sorry,
there was nothing. This week there was nothing as far as TNA goes. But again, can't have it every week. But I was going to ask you this: like, how did they drop the ball? And I get it that you get lost in things like that, but I almost feel like there's a lot in AEW of, well, you're Cody's guy.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm starting to feel that way because when Cody was there, Ethan Page was getting pushed well. He was doing the Darby Allin. When he first showed up with him and Scorpio Sky, they were doing the Darby Allin thing where they were throwing Darby down the stairs like every week.
And have you seen how?
And then he went bye-bye because once Cody left, it's like Ethan Page disappeared. They threw him in with the Hardys. They threw him in with whatever else. Same with Shawn Spears. And, I mean, look, man.
And then Cody takes that shot.
You got to do what you got to do when you get your opportunity. Ethan Page is making everything out of this opportunity to look like a star.
He looks great.
He looks like a star, man. It's like, how did I mean, I just don't understand how you look so different. It's like he just, like, in AEW, just, show up to work, let's see what I got to do and go. Now he even looks in better shape. Look, he's never been like the big muscle guy, but now he looks a little bit more cut and a little more leaner when he's fighting. Same with Shawn Spears. They just look like they want to be there, man. It almost got to the point where I feel like in AEW, it's just like, do we really want to be here? And then you hear, and we're going to dive into AEW and we'll mix it up here, where Matt Hardy, and again, I don't know the whole story of everything, but he felt like they didn't use the Hardy to their star potential. They didn't get everything out of the Hardy star that they should have. And I do not disagree with everything there either, but I also don't think they got everything out of it because there was injuries and there was things that, you guys have aged a little bit, man. You can't be doing all that stuff you were doing. And Jeff had his issues outside the ring, but they weren't always there either. It's both ways. It's a kind of a 50-50 thing. Because if we're going to make you the star, we need to make sure you're going to be there.
This is one of the reasons why I felt like Cody left in bad terms with AEW, and he still has a grudge with AEW. These things, when you see these ex-AEW wrestlers look completely different in the NXT world, it just goes to show you that I think he's trying to show Tony Khan, hey, look, man, I recognize talent. I know talent. You don't, man. And this is what's going to happen. I'm going to make these guys flourish, and they're going to be superstars in WWE. And I'm going to show you that, hey, I knew what I was doing over there. You have no idea what the hell you were doing or what you're doing now. And now he has to rely heavily on signing free agents left or right. I joked a couple minutes ago, but for them to be talking to Shane McMahon to come to AEW?
Like, what are you trying to do, though? I mean,
What is that?
what does that bring to you? I mean, great, you bring Shane McMahon out. At this point, there's not even a McMahon in WWE. It's not like you're being like, oh, it's Shane O'Mac showing up at the beach on WCW. Like, I mean, Shane McMahon, the last thing he's remembered for is blowing his quad in a match where Snoop and Miz had to cover for him.
Yeah. And I know that all started up, I believe, by Jim Ross. I think Jim Ross was the one who kind of
he was asked by a fan. I mean, it was a fan. He was like, hey, I never say never, but, you know, and then Tony Khan had to come out and be like, I've never talked to Shane McMahon.
No, but you what benefit is there if you were to bring Shane O'Mac? There's nothing. There's nothing.
The only thing, you know what? No, let me rephrase this. But see, this is the thing. I have nothing against the in-ring talent of AEW. My worry with AEW is just the storytelling, and it's gotten better, and there's still some things that jump the shark every once in a while and things like that. But I don't trust that they could put together a thing to where if you bring in Shane McMahon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you put him with Bryan Danielson, Moxley, Big Bill, Chris Jericho. You start throwing in all the older WWE guys and things like that and start making a group. And then you have them go against AEW. Then I can be like, oh, let's see where this goes.
Nah.
But in this day and age, it can't happen that way. One, because even if you're already talking about it, it's already out of the bag. Think about the only reason that the whole NWO thing worked was because people thought Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were still under contract with Vince McMahon.
And we're invading.
Yes.
Yep.
By the time it got out that they were signed WCW and then wait, no, it's the NWO. It's a whole different thing. They don't even have WCW contracts if you look it up. No, they were paid by Time Warner. So they're not signed by WCW. There was a thinking behind all of this. If I look at contracts and say, okay, what's he getting paid? Wait, Kevin Nash, he's not being paid by WCW. Scott Hall, he's not being paid by WCW. What? So are they invading? Is this something different? That day and age, just it's gone with social media, but then also it's like, I don't feel like you could write a good enough story to make it happen with what AEW does. And not to say that the talent couldn't get it over once it got in the ring and I could like it, but on paper, I just can't get behind it.
Well, the thing also, if we're gonna address it is the storytelling right now, and it's the whole feud with, Swerve and with Will Ospreay. But now they teased us with MJF, and I'm like, dude, like, why? Like, dude, you're trying to sell us on Swerve and Will Ospreay. I like it. I wasn't a fan of when Will Ospreay took his belt, held it up, and all that stuff. I thought that was very disrespectful. I think Swerve should have gone ahead and struck him right there and said, "Screw you, bro."
I think that was the whole thing, though. That if you watched the interview last week, Swerve then started bringing out his kids, like talking about, he started making it. He said, "Bruv, don't make it personal." Swerve said, "Oh no, I'm gonna make it personal." You took the belts. You made it personal the week before. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where, again,
I didn't like that.
You can have your issues with the things like that, but at least, and again, this is my whole thing about it. Before they had no stories. At least now there's something to be like, okay, let's see how this goes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but then they dropped the ball. But now they teased us with MJF and Will Ospreay, bro. What's the logic behind that?
Well, because again, everybody's like, oh, at All In, it's going to be Ospreay against MJF.
Why?
You know what? I don't think it's going to be that. You know what I think?
That's too soon.
But I think they're going to jump the shark at All In. I think MJF interferes at the pay-per-view Forbidden
Door.
Yep. And I bet you get the triple threat match at All In or All Out. Which one's the international? That's All In, right? All In's the one in Wembley, right?
All In is in Wembley.
I bet you get a triple threat match. MJF versus Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay at AEW All In.
I don't think that's the right call, man.
I don't know, because the only other way you can do this is if Will Ospreay beats Swerve.
Why are you putting MJF versus Will Ospreay so soon, bro? Why?
Dude, because
why does AEW keep doing this? You could build.
Dude, they went against nothing last week and had the lowest rating ever. And again, ratings mean nothing. I get it. I get what everybody says. But damn it, if that many people are not watching your show, and then they said, oh, it was because the lead-in. Because Black Panther led in instead of the Big Bang Theory. Big Bang
Who
Theory.
gives a damn?
But that's my issue.
That is so stupid.
Oh, my issue is like, wait a minute, you're so worried that, because we didn't get the lead-in from the Big Bang Theory, our numbers dropped down. Why don't you worry about having your numbers go up, man? That to me is what the ratings number should be. For whoever's in charge to look at it and be like, okay, where are we missing the mark? Because look, whatever you want to say, AEW Dynamite used to be at 1.0, 950, 850 used to be a low. 850 was a low. You went to 503 last week.
And you had MJF versus Roosh
to start the show.
With an hour non-commercial. You're averaging that goes to show you that not even MJF
use that number to show you that there's an issue. There's an issue.
Not even MJF is now starting to bring the numbers.
No, because nobody believes in anything that they're doing. Just like you said. Like, why are we doing it so soon? I'm not going to necessarily say why so soon, but where's the investment? Great. You're going to throw a great match out there. That's been the problem with AEW. It's great match after great match after great match, but there's no buildup to keep people coming back to it. If I want to watch a great match, I'll pay $50. I'll watch the pay-per-view. I don't need to watch any of your Dynamite leading up to it because none of it's going to even matter.
No.
That's where it's episodic TV. It's not weekly pay-per-views.
Correct.
That's
100%.
becoming to me. Look, once the bell rings, they're up there. Problem is making people like last week, the main event, Pac against Claudio. Claudio loses. Brian Danielson says something to him, and he kind of storms off mad. And Brian Danielson, so are you teasing a breakup in the Blackpool Combat Club? Because ultimately, I thought that was going to happen a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because Brian Danielson doesn't use any of them when his matches are on.
Nope. And then I'm looking at
tonight. It's Blackpool Combat Club versus Los Signos de Japón. And what does it say? Brian Danielson on commentary. Like come on, man.
Not only that, but okay. So then, and look, this is what frustrates me because look, all right. So you stick in tonight's show, Kyle O'Reilly versus Zack Sabre Jr. What's the storyline between those two guys?
There isn't a story. Orange Cassidy on what next week? Oh no, Sunday. On Sunday, he's versing Orange Cassidy. That's the story.
Mercedes Moné. We'll hear from Mercedes Moné. We didn't hear her anything last week. Last week she was gone. We didn't hear nothing about her last week.
Yeah, but she showed up at CMLL, and then she held up both titles over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a little thing there, and then now she's bringing it back. They showed it. She showed up Friday night. They showed it Saturday on Collision. Saturday on Collision has now became their show. It's kind of a if you tune into Collision, you need to know so you can get ready for Dynamite. Everything's gearing up to Dynamite.
That's terrible. And then they do have the Saraya, Anna Jay, and Harley Cameron versus Mina Shirakawa, Mariah May, and Toni Storm. Now, I think it was this guy, Eric Bischoff.
That guy. Yep.
Bischoff was the one that said, "Hey, look, the AEW doesn't do any storylines that are actually like entertaining." He actually gave kudos to Tony Storm, but then he goes and he says, "If Tony Storm knew how to wrestle," so he took a shot at Tony Storm. But see, that's out of all these matches, because obviously Swerve and Will Ospreay is the main event. They're tagging together. Brand, I don't know why they're tagging them together. It makes no logical sense why to tag them together. And then they're going against the Gates of Agony. It's
they put them on Collision. They're the top tag team in the world. They get the Dynamite and they just get fed to people. They should be called the Gates of Rampage and Collision, and then the Agony of Dynamite.
It's just like you said. It's just match after match being put in with no logical,
it's
or like two
matches,
little things.
Man.
Yeah, they're great matches.
Great matches. But the problem with to me, and again, look,
you're gonna burn your fans.
Obviously, you've got a hardcore fan base that loves that. It's about wrestling.
Not even that much,
Japanese style in a way. It's Japanese.
But you're not even getting that because you're losing. You had 1 million viewers before, and now you're averaging 500
because you've lost all the casuals.
Because even
all you have is your fan base now. Your fan base is all. Your fan base wasn't 800,000 people.
I thought their fan base was 800. I thought their fan base was
probably 550, 600 total.
That's rough, man.
And that's what you're getting right now.
That's rough. That is tough.
Because when they started getting the casuals in again was when they were doing the MJF Adam Cole storyline. You got a little bit more casuals in. You're getting up to the 800s again. And then the last 6 months, and you were blaming, but it's the NBA playoffs. It's the NHL playoffs. Now, the first week, neither of them affected you, and you had your lowest number.
Yeah.
And I get it. AEW fans, I understand. Ratings don't mean, but to me, if I'm an owner or I'm like anybody on the show, like, why do we only have a 503? Because you're not getting guys invested, man. You're not getting them invested. It's about investment. You want me to tune in every Wednesday at 8:00? Give me a reason to tune in every Wednesday at 8:00. And don't tell me it can't 100%. Be done, because Raw number was at 1.3, 1.4. They're back up to 1.7, 1.6 now because they're getting better with the Wyatt 6. They put something out there that people are like, let's find out what's going on. And they've got the Judgment Day.
There's a buzz.
Everybody doesn't like the Liv Morgan, the Judgment Day thing, but guess what? People do. And the ones that are turned off by it, there's probably more turned on by it. So now those numbers go up and down to where it averages out to what you're seeing.
But Sean, we're even seeing in NXT when you bring a random wrestler like from TNA, Joe Henry, you bring him over and he gets social media views like there's no tomorrow, and you're like, wow, why? Because it's something of a breath of fresh air in that world, in the NXT WWE world. You don't get that anymore in the AEW world. Forbidden Door is this weekend, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. No, it is. It's this week, 30th. 4 days away. And It has nothing on it. And also the other thing
is buzz?
Here's the other thing too, is they've lost the buzz they had with the Elite. The Elite versus AEW. You lost. Why? Because you put and man, this is gonna sound terrible, Bobby. You put a shitty Team AEW out there. Like Team AEW should have been your faces of that should have been, look, if you're doing that should have been Swerve. It should have been Ospreay. It should have been, if you want to throw in Moxley, if you want to throw it, MJF, was he back by then? I don't know. No, he
wasn't. He wasn't back.
So maybe you figure out who your fourth guy's going to be. Maybe it's Danielson and Moxley. Moxley and Danielson, Swerve and Ospreay.
Well, they could have just done the Blackpool Combat Club against them or something.
But how about this? If you use that to build up the story for your match with Will and Swerve in this, you could have used it. Elite was going to win anyways. So what if Swerve did the drive-by and nailed Ospreay and left him laying so Elite wins? Or vice versa. I'm not saying that, whatever, but at least now you've got a reason, because I just feel like this match, look, I know they're two great guys. I know they can go. I know when the bell rings on the 30th, it's going to be worth the pay-per-view money. But I also love wrestling. I love watching wrestling. I'll pay $49.99 or whatever. But you got to think about what the casual fan is going to do. And they're going to look at that and be like, I'm not paying $49.99 for that.
Nope.
Because they don't know some of the guys that are on there. You've got an IWGP title match on there that I haven't heard nothing about on AEW TV recently. 3 weeks ago, I saw a spot on it. I saw it build up 2 weeks ago. But last week, I didn't see anything. Then I tune into Rampage, and there it is. That's your least watched show. Why is it on there? And I'll tell you this, I enjoy Rampage and I enjoy Collision. I enjoy Dynamite when the bell's ringing, but I don't enjoy it to the fact that I like what Raw and SmackDown is doing, where it makes me think. Because what we were talking about earlier, to me, Dynamite and AEW doesn't make you think. They're telling you, here's A, here's B.
Yep.
What do you want?
Yep.
There's no swerving, no pun intended. Nothing going on to where it makes you think. That's why, look, I'm throwing in the MJF interfering because I'm hoping at least they do that to lead to All In.
Yep.
At least then it's a great storyline, because now you throw MJF in with Ospreay with them, and then now you can build that up until August. I'm hoping that's what they do. But again, that's me using, the thing to where it's like, okay, let's hope they do this.
Let me tell you something.
So A and B, cut and dry, black and white, that it's gotten
you're right.
boring.
You're right
Story
about
got boring. Not the wrestling. Again, I want to point out something. The bell to bell, I love the wrestling. I love the wrestlers, the performers, everything about it. It's just they don't have anything to make me invested. I'm invested in Will Ospreay. I love the character. Swerve Strickland, I get invested in a couple of characters, but they don't give them good enough storylines to where it's like, I gotta watch it.
Look,
if I'm a casual wrestling fan, I'm just
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100% that it's like they're robotic. A, B, C, D. That's how they've done it. I'll give you examples. So when you go ahead and you have Swerve and Will Ospreay there, right? And you try to incorporate something new, because Will Ospreay, Swerve told Will Ospreay, hey, look, your family's gonna, your family usually gets involved in all that stuff. And then Will Ospreay's like, oh no, man, I don't need the Don Callis family or anything like that. Why is this whole time when Will Ospreay got into AEW, he's been telling all of us that he doesn't need, the Don Callis family. So why are you relating that to it? It makes no sense. He hasn't used them, not even once. And then
here's the thing too, real quick. Oh, go ahead, go. I think you're going to say.
And then they go to the back, and you have this guy, Trent Beretta. Out of all of them.
Oh, he's mad. He's wearing black and he's mad.
Trent Beretta, who just joined the Don Callis family, is the one getting pissed, but he's just joined. Like, if there's somebody who's gonna get pissed, it should be Don Callis. He's the guy who's the head guy of that damn thing. So, like, it's like, what are you doing? I'll give you another example. Okada. I like the fact that they did the whole, the Acclaim came out and Okada muted the Acclaim. That was pretty cool. Okay. Then they go to the screen. Okay, perfect. He's like, hey, I muted you and all that stuff. And then he just drops and says, bitch. And he's always saying that. No, come on, man. Like, it's okay. The first time was cool. The second time was, but come up with something else. You understand me? And I know your language might be a little bit difficult, but the English might be a little bit difficult.
Character growth. What happened is everybody started giggling at it, and now it's become the punchline. Like, every time now they expect Okada to say, bitch, it's going to turn into like what? Now, every time Okada, he's going to expect the fans to change it. That's again.
It's like Shibata.
Those are little things.
The camera holding of Shibata, holding it all the time, and then Samoa Joe and this guy together, and then Shibata's always the guy holding the camera, and then he uses the little, the phone to translate and all that stuff. It's good. It's a good gimmick at the beginning, but dude, it gets boring. You need to do more. Look how we talk about the WWE world, and we're like, how we incorporate the call Roman Reigns, and how we could incorporate that, and how we could incorporate, here comes another Samoan into the bloodline. Dude, it entices, it makes you, dude, it makes you really like, look at how you know how you see in Facebook and on Instagram and in X and all that stuff. These guys, people, they're more hardcore wrestlers than us, detailing all these little things. Hey, Drew McIntyre, where he was walking, none of that looked beat up. None of the thing looked like a disaster. We don't have people doing that in the AEW world. Why? Because what you just said, they're A, B, C, D type of vibes. That's it. And what happens is you tune people out. There's nothing to be thrilled about, except when MJF was with Adam Cole, and people were like, "Oh, these guys are funny. What are we gonna get from them next?" Like, you left us like wondering, "Hey, this is cool." Like, I was even, they even changed my mindset of when I was like, how can you have a champion dancing out there? And we even debated about that stuff. But now, no. Now it's like, it's okay. It's there. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing, bro.
Yeah, no, and then the other thing is also in this one, and again, I don't know, not my cup of tea, but there was one thing that I went back to read the story about the numbers being low. There was a Kendrick Lamar concert broadcasted on Amazon Prime, I believe, or somewhere.
Come on, man.
And they're saying that had a potential, and then also the Olympic trials and the Baseball World Series.
Come on, man. Like the second
and amazing weather in much of the country, especially up in the Northeast. So lots more people out and about.
No, man.
So now their number was 502,000. Their Rampage number was 328,000. Collision number was 429. NXT last Tuesday did a 742. This week they did a 611, and I apologize for all the barking. My fan club was just letting the house.
No, the dogs already know that we're talking about AEW, so they're already getting upset.
But what I wanted to point at this number here. Think about this. NXT last week did a 742. What were they promoting? The 25-man battle royal. Anybody from any locker room could show up. People got invested. They tuned in. 742. This week, just your normal NXT. So now your normal people tuned in, 611. Down, but still higher. That is what is the scary part of all this. Look, I get rating numbers nowadays. Don't mean they can watch it wherever they want, whenever they want. I get all that. But how the hell is a show you were beating, you ran off of Wednesday nights? They made changes. You've stayed the course, or went changes the other way. I don't know which one you want to choose, because I honestly starting to feel that since Cody left, that might have been where the glue was, but I don't know, and I can't say. I'm not nowhere near that locker room. But I've watched WWE since Cody's got there do a hell of a lot more with social media, which AEW used to do. And I've watched WWE do a lot more with production. I mean, hell, Karrion Kross. Have you watched his stuff that they're putting out?
Yeah, he's getting better.
I don't know if he's doing that on his own or if WWE's doing it or whatever. But the fact that they're putting stuff out like that, that made that whole Kofi Kingston and everything else work.
Yeah.
They're working, through everything else. Liv Morgan sending out Daddy Dom on her, that's the stuff AEW was doing when you had the Elite and everything else, and Cody and, 100%. It feels like it's flipped, and the only person that's really flipped has been Cody.
Yep, I agree. And the sad part about this is that they're okay with it. They're okay with it.
It's almost like, it's not like, no, we need to get a better show. It's like, oh, well, look at everything that's going on. I mean, the sun's up. The sun's up. Our numbers down 300,000 people. I mean, 300,000 people had to go out on a Wednesday night at 8 p.m. because the weather's beautiful.
I don't know.
That just goes to show you that they're not invested in your product, because if they're invested in your product, they're going to tune in. Game 7, Stanley Cup, Florida's not a hockey town, right? Well, damn it, we sure showed up when we were invested in that son of a bitch.
Yep. And not only that, Sean, watch out for TNA. Watch out for TNA. TNA has a golden goose and Joe Hendry.
I honestly thought, stupidly, that there was a behind-the-scenes thing going on between TKO and Anthem, because I thought Anthem really wanted out of. But I think Anthem's starting to see that, hey, you know what? There's something here. And we own the wrestling company that's on our channel. Why would we get rid of that? And as you said, Joe Hendry comes in. You've got guys there that are, you got your Nemeth there now. You've got a pretty damn good roster if you started putting a little money into them.
And you know,
and they're doing that with Hendry. Hendry was trending weeks ago on Spotify or whatever the hell he was on. He was trending. His song was trending.
Not only
and he's
that,
only gotten bigger since then.
Not only that, if you start seeing Joe Hendry, and that's why TNA, if TNA is smart, they'll run with this. Joe Hendry is smart for himself. And you know what? Joe Hendry wasn't busted open, I think, last week. And Joe Hendry even said, TNA, back me up. TNA is pushing me. TNA is saying, what else can we do to make your character blow up even more? And then you start seeing, you saw in the Stanley Cup Finals, there was somebody who had, I believe, in Kyler Verhage.
Verhage.
So that was like Verhage. And I'm like, that person there
knows who
Joe Hendry is.
Yeah.
My brother, when we did the Let Me Talk to You episode last week, I started with Joe Hendry, and I think No Doubt was like, what the hell? Because he came late. But now No Doubt knows who Joe Hendry was because he saw it and he's like, oh crap, what who the hell is this guy? People start to realize, and then slowly but surely, people are gonna tune into TNA. For example, myself. I was like, wait, where are they showing TNA? And I found a channel. I said, oh, they do TNA on Thursdays. Another day of wrestling. Okay, cool. I'll start. If I can't watch it, I'll record it and I'll watch it and see what's going on over there. And that's how I've been, because before I would just see the highlights on X.
Yeah.
Now I'm actually watching the show. And I'm like, okay, TNA is pretty cool. This is fun. This is cool.
But they also do story-driven storylines. Like, but again, their pay-per-views are a month apart. But that's what I'm saying, though, is like, you have to get people invested in it. The stupidest things work. I'm not saying you got to put millions of dollars into people and production and everything else. It's just you got to make them, for instance, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy. When those guys came in, I said, there's no way. And I've said this before many times. No way I'm going to believe in anything these guys can do. They put Orange Cassidy in a feud with Chris Jericho, and I ate my words. They put Darby Allin in with Cody Rhodes a couple weeks. I ate my words. I was like, okay. Now, Darby Allin got a little bit crazy to me because it's like, oh, I'll just dive off everything and go through dude, live to fight another day. Live to fight another day. But they got me invested into them where I believed in, okay, they are legit. I started buying it. Then I could watch them wrestle other people because then I was like, okay, they do stand a chance. When I first watched it, this guy walks out in blue jeans and a white shirt, and he's slowly kicking. I'm like, dude, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this? And then slowly, okay, I catch on. I'm not saying it's got to be old school wrestling that for me to like it or anything like that, but get me invested in the character. Show me what they can do and allow me to invest in them. MJF became one of the biggest scumbags in the world, then the most beloved scumbag. And now he's the Wolf of Wrestling. He's going to be the next Chris Jericho, reinventing himself each time that he needs to keep moving on with his career.
Yes.
Chris Jericho at the Learning Tree. I love what you're doing. I don't need to see you wrestle, bro. Keep doing the Learning Tree. Do your waves. Interrupt people with your little catch thing now. Like, hey, guys. I love it. I don't need to see you wrestle every week. That I got tired of. That I was like, get rid of Jericho. I was that guy saying, get rid of Chris Jericho. Then they went to the Learning Tree, and now I'm like, okay, keep him. Because now I can invest in that character.
But I could promise you right now, that wasn't Tony Khan's idea of the Learning Tree. That's all Chris Jericho.
I get it. I get that that's probably Jericho. But Tony Khan wrote off on it. Tony Khan didn't say, oh, no, we need to keep you as this guy or that guy, so at least he's.
But this is the issue. Jericho's an old school wrestler. Jericho knows the business. He's been in WWE.
Yes,
He knows he has to
reinvent himself.
He knows he has to reinvent himself. The younger guys, like Danny Garcia, very good, talented wrestler. I love it. They've been hyping him up. I have seen him a couple of times in Collision.
He's talking. Daniel Garcia to speak tonight on Dynamite.
But maybe he's not the type of wrestler that can change his persona to elevate him another level. You understand me? Maybe he needs guidance. And a lot of one of the things that a lot of wrestlers always say is, hey, you need to better yourself in ring and outside, right? You gotta your character. Look, your ring work is gonna be amazing, but it doesn't matter if nobody. Go ahead.
Disco Inferno. That's the only look what he did in WCW.
He was good in WCW, man.
He was good. He's a terrible wrestler.
Terrible.
But he could dance, he could do everything else, he could talk, and you got invested in him. You wanted to see him get his ass kicked. I'm not always saying you got to invest in somebody whereas you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if I want to see you get your ass kicked every week, I'm invested because I want to tune on TV and see how this week they're going to make you look like an idiot. It's just investing like your feelings, your emotions. There's nothing on Dynamite right now to where, and No Doubt said, I think it was No Doubt said, I never feel like I'm going to miss anything important if I miss a Dynamite or a Collision. You don't, it's like, okay, well, you know what? I'll see the clips. And I used to do that with Raw. When Vince was doing the 3 times, everybody was fighting. And that's the other thing that AEW has gone to too, which I can't stand. I can't stand this. The Eliminator match. Okay, so I beat the tag team champions to get another tag team championship match to which I'm not going to win. What the hell is that?
It's frustrating, man.
I am over the Eliminator stuff, man. I'd rather have the Acclaim fight the Gates of Agony. The winner gets the title shot than have them, okay, let's go beat the Young Bucks on Dynamite so I can get a pay-per-view at get a match at Forbidden Door that I know I'm not going to win.
And you want to know something, Sean? It's going to catch up to AEW because, look, it's nice to see Will Ospreay versus MJF. Yes. Cool. Eventually, the first time, it'll be great. We'll probably see him again sometime next year in the middle of Dynamite or in the middle of a Collision or whatever. Okay, great. That's nice. And then the third time comes around. All of a sudden, you're like, wait, hold on a second. I already saw this. What is there more? What are you going to do? Okay, let's do a I Quit match or something like that to try to entice him. But at one point in time, you're going to be like, dude, I've seen that match 3 or 4 times. It's not only about the in-ring. You need to show me something about these guys that it's going to make it. I don't mind watching those 2 guys wrestle 10 times. But it's going to be 10 times better if there's a storyline that actually makes sense.
Something that makes sense, yeah.
That will go ahead.
That's going to be the thing for. We've seen Swerve do it already a couple times. He's reinvented himself a couple times on TV. Okay. You've watched his character develop and get depth. You've watched Will Ospreay kind of do it once because he's turned. But again, he wasn't full time with AEW back then. Then you watched him get on, and whether it was what Triple H said got him motivated or something, you saw a different type of Will Ospreay on the mic. You saw a fired up Will Ospreay, somebody you could get invested in. That's going to be the thing. When these guys verse each other, it's great. Your first time matches, your matches you want to see. But then when, like you're saying, 2-3 times on the road, you got to reinvent yourself to make it mean something more than what you're getting right now.
Of course.
Like No Doubt saying Daniel Garcia is boring. Just say it. He is, but he's got the little dance move that everybody goes crazy for.
Yes.
But that's why, to me, what they needed to do was to keep that Jericho Appreciation Society together a little bit longer. And every time he went to do the dance, have Jericho stop it.
Well, they had
Mac Daddy and them guys do it, but that's not. You needed Jericho to become that guy, and then had Jericho at the same time transitioning to the learning tree, and then Daniel Garcia's under the learning tree with Big Bill, and now with the Bad Apple or the Rotten Apple and all that stuff. But cool. You never let Daniel Garcia do the dance. Every time he goes to do the dance, boom. You have Chris Jericho, like they did with Okada at the thing. Daniel Garcia wins. He goes to do the dance. Chris Jericho goes at the thing and sends it to commercial right before he gets up to the turnbuckle. And you never get to see the dance. You just tease that dance because that's what they want. That's all he's known for. So then when you get it, you're going to get the eruption. Think of Otis and Chad Gable. All everybody wanted to see was him push Chad Gable every week. For the last 2 weeks. It got the big pop. That's all they wanted. Little things. It ain't got to be nothing crazy. I don't need to do, look, all the athleticism in the world, yes, you're going to get the oohs and the ahs. Think about MJF last week. He's doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden he's eye poke. And the place went bananas. Because they've invested in MJF and his moveset to where they know that the scumbag's going to do it. It's a scumbag move. That's what we love about it. It's little things. MJF ain't got to go out there and do a 450 splash.
Nope.
A freaking eye poke, and they just freaking ate it up. Daniel Garcia's that little dance. He wrestles all match. He did a 20-minute match. Not one fan stood up. After the match, he does his dance, and the crowd goes crazy. So
well, little guy, the kangaroo. I even bought the shirt, the kangaroo kick. And you know what? Give it a couple of months, give it a year, and he could bring the kangaroo kick back, and people will go crazy.
It'll be the little thing that every once in a while he'll just sit there one time. All he's gonna do is he's gonna be getting beat down. He's gonna set up for the, and people are gonna fall and go like, "Oh yes, give it to me."
It's those little factors, man.
It's the little things that you plant in people's heads, man.
Yes, sir.
Hell, look at how many legends to this day are remembered just for little things.
Yep.
Ric Flair's the woo. I mean, I get it. He had a profound career. Don't get me wrong, and everything else. But if you think Ric Flair, woo, there's always little things. Dusty Rhodes, the Boy of the Woods, baby. Half the stuff's not even in ring stuff that you remember.
And you could even do it with like the the mid-level guys, or like the guys who weren't not mid-level but didn't blow up to like extreme. Like
Brown, you think of him doing his head thing. I mean, it's the little thing. Godfather with the hose, the hoe train. Like, I mean, it's little things.
Now, I will say this: Forbidden Door. I'm looking at the card. They only have 6 fights lined up right now. That's like the lowest I have ever seen.
Let me see the Dynamite tonight and see what they haven't added yet that they'll add tonight. Go ahead.
Do you want to do our picks?
Yeah, let's do them.
All right, hold on. So let me share this. I'm gonna share this with you because I obviously.
No, just give them to me.
No, well, no,
you're gonna ruin my screen, is what you want to do. Okay.
Yeah, of course I want to ruin the screen.
No problem. All right.
So there you go. So we got a little screenshot right there for all you fans as well.
All right.
Right. So let's start from the bottom right, and then we'll work our way through. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there you got the TNT Championship match, right? Ladder match, for that matter. And in that match, let me see who do we got in here? Who's in?
Wait, who's missing? Is there still one match to go?
I guess yes. Today's match is they're gonna what's his name? This guy, hold on, I had it pulled up. Jay White versus Ray Phoenix.
No, that's an Owen Hart Cup tournament.
That is an Owen Hart
That's
Cup
not a
tournament.
TNT channel ladder
I
match.
wonder who's missing in that group. Hold on. Trios match. Zack Sabre, Kyle O'Reilly.
That's it. There's nothing there unless they announce, or maybe it's on Rampage or something.
Maybe it's on Rampage. But you're right, because I got this directly from AEW.
And by the way, can I tell you something? Kudos to whoever came up with it. If it was Jeff Jarrett, whatever else, that is some heartfelt shit right there, man. Him and the Owen Hart tournament, and they sat down. He was the last. He's calling himself like the last outlaw, and he's talking about his friendship with Owen Hart and what it would mean to win the Owen Hart champion, like the tournament. Like, dude, you talk again, getting somebody emotionally invested in everything. I want Jeff Jarrett to win the Owen Hart men's tournament. I know it's probably not going to happen, but right now he's my choice.
All righty, well, here we go.
Chance, go to AEW, watch that, and tell me you don't feel something after it, because if you do, you just shoot yourself, because you're not going to bleed anyways. There's no blood flowing through your heart.
All right, so let's start with the TNT Championship match.
Yes.
You got Takeshita,
Yes.
Mark Briscoe,
No.
Jack Perry,
Maybe.
Dante Martin,
Yes.
Leo Rush, and
Yes.
some other random person that we have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know who that is going to be yet.
Let's see. Hold on a second. Christopher Daniels acting on behalf of Tony instead booked a series of qualifier match. Yep, he hasn't. They haven't announced this. I'm just looking. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, no. So I guess based on who we have available,
Yes.
who do you think is gonna win?
I got Jack Perry winning this.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Like there's no. I have no idea why.
The only thing that I wonder is if that last person is Darby Allin, since he was left hanging upside down and he cost Jack Perry. Because Takeshita's not winning it. Dante Martin's not winning it. Leo Rush isn't winning it. Mark Briscoe's already a champion.
The Ring of Honor champion.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, we can't have 600 belts. And unless you're the Bullet Club Gold, you get 1,200.
Yeah, the Bullet Club Club with everybody having like 70,000.
Everybody's got 7 belts running around. Yeah, I got Perry, man. I just don't see. And also, it's got to go with the storyline. Elite has to win.
Something.
They have to have that. And I think also they're going to add I don't know, is that match on Dynamite or Rampage or Collision? They won the tag team title tournament. They won the tag team title eliminator match. So they have to get a tag team title match. Is that on Forbidden Door? Or is that on?
Maybe Daniel Garcia jumps into the ladder match, but he would have.
You know what? Daniel Garcia is talking tonight on AEW. I don't know if I said that before or not. But MJF is live in Buffalo, but Daniel Garcia is also talking. So make sure you're tuning in.
But no doubt says Daniel Garcia is boring, so it doesn't matter that he's talking.
Yeah.
But he's live in Buffalo.
I don't know if they want him talking Buffalo. Oh, well, is he from New York? Is he a New Yorker?
I'm not sure.
Garcia? I think he's a New Yorker.
I'm not sure.
I'm here in my hometown talking to you.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Especially.
Oh, you know what, too? I forgot about that, man. MJF's definitely interfering in the Forbidden Door match.
Okay, hold on. Before we go there, let's keep on with our picks. This take like 2 seconds.
All right.
So the next match we got here is, of course, Bryan Danielson going against Shingo Takagi.
Yeah,
Takagi, I guess. I don't know if I said that right.
No, either way. I watched him wrestle this week on Collision. It's going to be a hard-hitting match. I got to go Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Shingo. I haven't been watching.
Both dragons, by the way. It's dragon versus dragon. The American dragon versus the dragon.
Wait, but this is for the Owen Hart tournament. There's no way Takagi.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way Takagi is going to be in the Owen Hart tournament and win it. No, Bryan Danielson all day.
Yeah.
Why would they add it?
You got to have a stipulation for every pay-per-view match. It's got to be. I guarantee you that Orange Cassidy Zack Sabre Jr. match becomes contract in the garbage can match.
Didn't they fight already? They fought him before, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Have you noticed that this is like the weakest Forbidden Door?
It is terrible. You know what's funny is it's the one Forbidden Door where it's not like a lot of New Japan. I mean, there's some New Japan, don't get me wrong. But remember that one year, it was like New Japan versus AEW.
Yeah. There was so much hype.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about, man. The situation of you keep showing us the same thing over and over again, and you're gonna run into this where people are not gonna be interested. Watch, this pay-per-view is not gonna do good.
But with all the talk about the CMLL, how many CMLL guys you see on this card?
None.
There's one.
Rio, right? Leo Rush?
No, the Shane Stephanie lady.
Oh yeah. The girl
That's
who's
it.
fighting Mercedes
Yeah.
Moné.
Leo Rush is New Japan. But with all the guys that are
I thought Leo Rush was a free
he's New
agent.
Japan as well. New
He's
Japan.
still okay. Oh no, and Mina's New Japan too.
I think so. I'm not sure. Yeah. I know CMLL is like the AAA. It's the other promotion in Mexico. Besides, you got AAA and CMLL.
Do you really see anybody? Okay. So Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre. I got Orange Cassidy.
I kind of go Zack Sabre because Orange Cassidy doesn't have to win, and I
That's
feel like
the only one that
you
we
have
could
to
probably.
you have to give somebody other than your AEW guys a match. Like I feel like that's the one.
All right, Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Valkyrie.
Mercedes Moné gets the CEO and she wins both belts because now both are on the line, title for title. And she walks out with the title she was supposed to win originally before hurting her ankle.
Yeah, I don't see how Mercedes doesn't win. Tony Storm versus this is the only good quality match that actually has a good storyline because even on Saturday, I think a Collision.
It affects your decision making on this because I see little Mariah May behind Tony Storm over there.
Yes.
But she is a tag team partner of Mina Shirakawa.
Correct.
So it makes you wonder
who's going to win.
Does she turn on and go with Mina?
See what happens when you actually have a freaking
story. You have
storyline.
to sit here and be like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do?
We don't know.
I think, honestly, I think this is where I said it last time too. Like, I feel like timeless Tony Storm, the time is running out on her. But when does who's going to be that person? Is it Mariah May that ends up being the person to cost her title and become the villain of the story? That would be a plot twist.
I will say this. I don't see Mina winning the belt. I don't think she's going to carry the AEW Women's Championship belt. I say Tony Storm wins, and as Tony Storm is walking out, that's when Mariah May finally turns on Tony Storm. That's what's going to happen. I don't see Mina winning. She's not in AEW. Why would she carry the woman?
She is in AEW now. I don't think she's anymore in the other one. She's been there more than she's been at the other one. If she's still there, I don't think that I just don't think they've announced anything yet.
I still go with Tony Storm, and I say that's when Mariah May.
I don't doubt that. I just know that at some point, this is again. She's had the great beginning of the movie, right? So when does that? Every movie has where you hit the plot twist, to where now you got to battle a little bit of hardship, and then at the end you get the happy ending again. I feel like that's the way this timeless Tony Storm movie's going. So at one point, there's got to be that plot twist. And this is a good time to do it. Because I look, Mina's not like the type of champion to where you can't go a couple dynamites and then all of a sudden she wins it back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a Jamie Hayter or one of those, big time winners. It's, hey, Mariah May helps her win it. Mariah May might not be there one week. Tony Storm tricks Mina into accepting a challenge. Mina wins a title, or Tony wins a title back, and it's Tony against Mariah May is the feud down the road.
Yeah.
So there's ways to go. Again, as you said, this one's got a story. There's arcs to where your mind can run wild. Nothing will happen. Tony Storm will win. Mariah May will be happy. They leave together. They hug. They kiss. Everything we talked about, nothing happens.
Yeah.
But this story, again, it allows us to, hey, all right, we could run ourselves ragged on this one. Beautiful.
I like Tony Storm. Who do you got? You got Mina?
You know what? I want to go Mina just because I want to believe that at some point the hourglass runs out. But I'll go Mina this time just because that way at least we'll disagree on one thing.
Okay. Next, we got John Moxley defending his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship belt against Naito.
Yeah.
This is
And
the
this is another one where there's not a story involved,
no
but it's also not an AEW title.
correct.
So this is one where you could say, okay, well, do they give the title to Naito? I don't believe so. I think Moxley wins the title. I think IWGP knows what they have with Moxley as the champion. Their title's shown every week on AEW TV. And then he goes over to Japan, defends it, brings it back. I think they know what they have. It's cool to see Naito come over and get a shot at it. And it'll probably build up maybe for whoever the next match is for him. I don't even know when the next New Japan pay-per-view is, but that'll probably show itself on the Forbidden Door somehow.
So you got John Moxley.
I got John Moxley.
I actually think Naito is going to win.
Okay.
I say that
You got two separate ones, right?
I you remember we both agree that there has to be somebody who wins outside of the AEW world. You have the Zack Sabre one. I'm gonna go with Naito in this one. I think Naito wins this belt, and it makes sense. It's not an AEW belt. Why not?
I like it.
All right, the last one, AEW World Championship belt, Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay.
I think since they're in the hometown of the scumbag, the Wolf of Wrestling, Long Island, New York, which is where Forbidden Door will be, I think he raises hell in the main event. Just kind of nobody wins. I think MJF just destroys it. And then, interestingly enough, maybe that'll make you tune into Dynamite on Wednesday to find out the fallout of the World Championship or something. I just feel like they've got to start. I hate ending a pay-per-view that way, where where there's no winner or whatever there. But like, I feel like this one you have to do that if you want to expand the story, because I just don't feel. I'm not saying that Swerve can't lose and rebound, and I'm not saying that Ospreay can't lose and rebound. But you do set one of them back if they take a loss.
Yep.
And this way you keep them both at the head of the momentum and neither one loses. They could have a hell of a match and then just have MJF getting involved at the end, have him on commentary, have both of them kind of motioning toward him at one, like drawing back and forth during the match or whatever. And then at some point, MJF just takes it on himself and causes chaos.
I like the idea. It just sounds very too complicated for Tony Khan to go ahead and make all those calls. I think what's going to happen is going to be a straightforward match. I say Swerve loses, and at the end, you get Will Ospreay versus MJF at All In.
Yeah, and no doubt says MJF has to be a Forbidden Door. Yes, he's going to have to be there. Now, how about this, man? Let's talk this. This Don Callis family thing, right? They're going to have to get involved at some point with what they showed at AEW Dynamite with the backstage thing. And then Don Callis didn't come out for the match because he was trying to calm down Trent Beretta, the new guy, the new member of the family who's so upset because Will Ospreay doesn't need the family. And he said it out loud. And he's been saying it for 6 months now. But since Trent Beretta was a best friend, he didn't say anything, but now he's not a best friend anymore. So now he's upset and he's wearing all black and he's acting like Johnny Cash in the back. I mean, whew. What role do they play in this?
I think they have a role, but I think there'll be a role after All In.
But does Trent Beretta make it out to the ring? Will Ospreay hits him off?
I don't think so.
And now you set up Will Ospreay against Trent Beretta for a little bit?
I don't think so because keep in mind, when Trent Beretta was going all crazy and all that stuff, Don Callis was the one saying, relax, calm down, it's okay. I got this. I don't think they're going to rush it. I think they're going to wait until maybe All In. Or definitely after Forbidden Door. Maybe you know what? They might do Trent Beretta versus Will Ospreay maybe on a regular Dynamite. Because that's typically what they like to do. So they'll do that. He'll get involved some way, somehow after, like in one of the regular Dynamites. And that's it. But he doesn't get involved in this pay-per-view. I think it's a straight fight. That's all it is.
I'm wondering if they get involved tonight.
Nah.
4 days before They're taking on the Gates of Agony. And there's got to be something more than just them tagging. Like, I don't know, man. I have a feeling this match is going to start the Dynamite. Like, to me, I would put that match at the end just to draw interest of what the hell will happen. But I feel like that's going to be the first match, and Blackpool Combat Club will be the main event.
If that's the case, then that would be disappointing. I mean, hold on. You want to know something? I want to check out another match that I do think they might add into this Forbidden Door will probably be Willow against
No, they can't. That's the next match in the Owen Hart tournament. That's a semifinal match.
That's why you stick it in Forbidden Door.
Oh, well, I guess I don't like that.
Yeah, but they already put Bryan Danielson versus this guy.
I don't like that call of them. They should have put them on opposite sides of the bracket to where they fought in the finals.
That would make too much sense.
It's just like you did all this to get to a semifinal match. Like you had them turn on it. You had her turn on her, and now they're gonna the first time they fight each other is gonna be in a like you did all that to just get to that. Like that's just more down the line to me. Like it just odd.
That's typical AEW.
It's odd. I was like, I honestly thought I was like, I know it's Collision and Rampage and all that stuff. But why doesn't Statlander come out and cost Willow Nightingale the match?
Yeah, because it makes too much sense.
And it was like, why are you giving us that? Like that's what I don't. And maybe somebody smarter than me can explain it. Because to me, like you're saying, like I feel like that should be not a main event, but a main card on a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, oh yeah,
meaning something. If you had Owen Hart finals on the line, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander against each other, the story's written itself with the way it's done. Now you've done that story, you've written it, and now it's to get to the finals. Like, God. Ugh.
It just makes perfect sense from the AEW world to mess it up. I'm trying to see if I see the poster of what AEW did the week before. You know that poster where they had MJF and Roosh and all that stuff. Because I want to see who fought in that card. And
it was Pac against Claudio in the main event.
Yeah, but I wanted to see the poster, like who was highlighted on the top.
Yeah.
Of that thing to see.
I think it was MJF against Roosh was the highlight because it said interruption.
Okay,
I
got it.
Or something.
I got it. So apparently, the main guy was. Oh no, this was Collision. This is Will Ospreay versus. Okay, so we could use the Collision one too. Yeah. Will Ospreay versus Brian Cage. Was that the final match on Collision? That was for the AEW International Championship. Did you see?
Yeah,
Collision
that was the final. That was the final match. Yeah.
So on like the media scrum that they show like all the card, they have that as the main one, the top one. So that probably. So you might be right that the main event. It might not be the Blackpool Combat Club as the main event tonight. If that's the case, if they're following the same, kind of protocol, the main event should be Will Ospreay and Swerve versus the Gates of Agony. That should be because based on their Medium post. But again, I could be wrong, but based on how the Collision one was illustrated on social media, and I'm trying to go even more down on the here we go. And Rampage was that? No, then I don't. I'm just trying to scrim down even more. But apparently, yeah, it would make sense for Will Ospreay and Swerve to be the last match of Dynamite.
At least leading into the thing. And what would be even more interesting is if somehow they can get MJF into it somehow. Because you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen in some way. Like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know what you do. I don't know.
Okay,
like, it was odd what they did last week. Remember, Daniel Garcia was getting jumped. Ospreay and MJF came down to help Daniel Garcia. That's how they ran. That's how they got face to face. Like that to me felt like a stretch of trying to make sure they got contact. Like why not just run them into each other in the back when they're walking? No, it was Brian Cage and Will Ospreay that ran into each other in the back.
Okay, so on the other Dynamite, so this is the let me-
Oh, never mind. I stand corrected. MJF is going to take on Hechicero at Forbidden Door.
oh, they announced that.
I believe that's already been announced.
Well, it's not on their AEW website, which I'm not surprised that they did not announce that. Because on when I go to Forbidden Door and I look at the card, they only have the ones that showed up. And if for you guys, if you look at it, back then, which is this one, so this was their Dynamite 2 weeks ago. So they had Rush versus MJF in the middle, and that was the opener. So if you're looking at, and the closer was this one was Pac versus Claudio. So there is a possibility that in the main event of tonight's Dynamite will be most likely Swerve and Will Ospreay versus the Gates of Agony. So
Yeah. So what it was on. Wait a minute. MJF defeated. Yeah. So Daniel Garcia. So following the match, Cage of Agony and Hechicero ran out, attacked Menard and Garcia, leading to MJF running out, trying to save Menard to no avail. This led to Will Ospreay and cleared the ring of Cage. Ospreay and MJF had a stare down that ended with MJF left. Ospreay then helped up and raised up his hand, holding his own.
yes, you're right. You're right. He is going against Hechicero because that's when Gates of Agony was telling Will Ospreay, "Hey, look, you're gonna fight Hechicero in the back." Yes, that's actually.
But it was MJF and Hechicero because he challenged him. I think after he beat Roosh.
Correct.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was. He beat.
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah,
Yep,
EVPs. They messaged the from the EVPs, which revealed the MJF having a match against Hechicero at Forbidden Door.
And we could make a prediction on that. MJF is winning.
Yeah, no disagreement here on that one. Long Island, New York, but again, it was kind of a long way to get to Hechicero versus MJF because he actually went out to fight Hechicero, and then Will Ospreay went out against the Gates of Agony, because I guess apparently he was going to fight on Brian Cage or whatever. So that was all part of that.
But check this out. I got that list of all the fights off of AEW's site, and they still have not posted. And keep in mind, this was last Wednesday. Yeah. It's Hechicero versus MJF. MJF was supposed to be your biggest star, your biggest draw, and you don't even have that on your site, saying that that's the eighth one of the fights already in Forbidden Door.
A lot of people are poo-pooing on this match too.
On which one?
Hechicero against MJF. They're like, really?
Of course. Like, it's a waste. It's just for MJF. That's a fight that you would put on a Dynamite.
Hechicero is what in Spanish?
Hechicero?
Yeah. Isn't that like
Hechicero? I don't know, man. To be honest with you, I don't know if that's actually an actual. Let me Google it. But I don't know. For me, Hechicero, I don't think so. It says Hechicero, Rey Hechicero from Mexico, luchador. He's the CMLL guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought he changed his name to Rey from Rey. Hechicero is the Spanish for wizard. He used to be known as Rey Hechicero, Wizard King. But then when Rey Mysterio came back, he went to just Hechicero, which is wizard.
I didn't even know.
I knew there was something because I saw the whole thing because they're trying to, again, they've tried to do better at getting an introduction to some of these guys. I just don't know that's portraying and coming across to everybody.
Hechicero is also known as Brujo. So Brujo is like not like kind of like a witch, but for a guy. So he's like Papa Shango. Remember Papa Shango?
Okay, like a voodoo guy or whatever.
Like somebody like a voodoo guy. He's like that. Like he would be.
I thought somebody called him the devil the devil one time or something, but maybe I was wrong because that's what I thought they were trying to go for is like, MJF, the devil against the devil, like that type of thing. Because I didn't understand. Like, it's like, dude, like it just doesn't. Like, I don't know, man. That match is another one that's kind of like Okay, I guess you just wanted to get MJF on the card.
Because when I Google it, it says hechicero. It says brujo means sorcerer, warlock, magician.
Okay, so like a sorcerer, like yeah.
But for me, brujo for me is for me has been kind of like a witch. I don't know why I have that term, but I don't know, whatever. I guess it's
The male witch. That's what we'll call him. The male witch.
That's what I thought.
He's the
brujo,
male witch. MJF's gonna make him his bitch. That's my rap for the day.
Oh,
That's
there
it.
you go. There you go. No doubt says it. A witch, but for a guy is a wizard. Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay. Damn it.
That's what-
I just had I got nothing that was a wizard except for like gizzard. What are you gonna do? Hechicero's a wizard? MJF kick him in the gizzard?
You know what though, sir?
What's up?
What AEW needs to do is they need to believe on my boy Joe Henry. So proud of Joe Henry.
No. If again, you've said it earlier. If TNA's smart, they keep doing what they're doing, keep Joe Hendry happy, and keep building that around. Because again, I was wrong. I automatically assumed that, well, if they're doing all this, I remembered Scott D'Amore wanted to purchase TNA from Anthem. And that's the reason they parted ways. So I thought they were trying to sell, and to me, it made sense to, well, if the WWE's going to bring them over and make a partnership, they're probably going to become a part of them. But apparently, Anthem has no ambition to sell. They just want to get more eyes on their product, and they're doing the right way of doing it.
Yep.
I would like to see, again, their channel that they're on. I believe they're on. It's not Vice. It's damn it. What channel are they on? The TNA?
I have it on my DVR. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I have it on my DVR. I would have to go downstairs and tell you on my DirecTV what channel they are because I do watch them. But I don't know right now. I don't have it in.
And also TNA did a new app. They have TNA Plus, and they're doing a new YouTube channel. Also, WWE's doing a new YouTube channel called The Vault. You can subscribe and see all the old action. So I think what's going to happen is when the WWE network goes bye-bye, all that's going to go in there, and then you pay a subscription to YouTube, and you'll be able to watch the WWE network.
Yeah, I can't find it. I don't know.
Access, I think it is. AXS. AXS TV. Access TV.
There you go. I didn't.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Anthem owns that.
I know I started recording it. And shout out to Ecuador. Ecuador is beating Jamaica 2-1 in the Copa America. We got a big game tonight.
Venezuela and big upset today too, right?
Versus Mexico. We got Venezuela versus Mexico.
Portugal lost.
Yes, but Portugal already qualified to the next round, so that's why I didn't care.
Oh,
yeah. So it was an
soccer guy. My fault.
Significant
football. It is significant. Georgia is going to go to their first big tournament, and Georgia is going to advance.
Oh,
who would have thought? The town of Atlanta is probably going crazy right now.
No, sir. Oh, Lord. Okay.
What?
Are we done?
Almost. Access is owned by Anthem Sports Entertainment. So not only do they own the wrestling company, they own the channel that it's on. Like, if they don't have a monopoly on right here, buddy.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know all that.
Yeah. Wow. Did you know that Anthem acquired a majority stake in Access TV and HD Nets from existing stakeholder Mark Cuban?
Not bad.
There we go. Mark Cuban could have had Joe Hendry. All right, tell them where they can find you next.
So, you guys can meet me at or follow me.
Seen Harry Potter?
No, I have never. Oh, I have seen Harry
bits and pieces. My daughters and son.
I like Harry Potter. It's pretty cool.
I have not really sat through and watched a wizard show. I guess they're making fun of us because we didn't know Hechicero must be on there. They must have somebody called Hechicero there.
In Harry Potter?
I'm guessing it's a sorcerer. It's no doubt saying, have you people ever seen Harry Potter? LMAO.
I've seen bits and pieces of Harry Potter. But I do gotta watch it more.
No doubt says the Bulldogs are winning the Euro Cup.
Yeah, he's being sarcastic because Georgia is not the state of Georgia. It's Georgia, the country.
Athens, Georgia. That's right. They're celebrating tonight behind the edges.
All right. You could meet me at, or you could follow me at Frankie Frezko or
Kirby
Frezko
Smart
Music.
leading that team, baby.
Fresco
Strategy.
Music. We also have the Let Me Talk to You podcast. We're not gonna stream it today. We are tuning into that Mexico Venezuela game. The reason we're not, two reasons why we're not streaming. First, we're tired as hell.
They're tired as hell. The men have been working.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you this is the reason, and you guys can come
talk to you.
say.
Let me talk to you right now.
So check this out. Friday, I DJ'd at Calder Casino. I also after that on Saturday, shout out to the Miami Sharks. We won. Congratulations, the Miami Sharks. Huh? What?
That's like 3 in a row, right? They've won like 3 in a row.
Yeah, so they're playing their last game this weekend, and they need some help, but they can make the playoffs. So I was the main DJ for the Miami Sharks.
Oh, you got to be out there doing it, man.
Actually, next time if you want to come, Sean, I'll get you tickets. I could get you tickets when I'm doing the Miami Sharks. It was pretty. It was fun. I'm the main PA guy along with my friend Jamie. A shout out to my friend Jamie. He's a DJ Immortal. He's a badass DJ, just 20,000 times better than me. But still, we're both working together on the Miami Sharks. So I was able to do that. I basically from 4 o'clock in the afternoon all the way to midnight. So I was working it because I had to do pre-game, in-game, halftime, and then post-game. But it was phenomenal experience because I was able to do the whole thing. Before I would only do maybe the pre-game or the post-game, but this game I was able to do everything. After that, I had to go ahead, pick up my dog, drop him off at my friend's house because they were taking care of him, drive back to my parents' house, crash in Hialeah because my flight to Houston was leaving at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I didn't sleep. And then so we left at 4 o'clock in the morning, got to the airport at 5. I passed out for 2 hours in the airline, in the plane, made my way to Houston, and then we immediately started doing things. So you could just imagine how busy I was. We did Sunday, Monday, I got trashed. Tuesday, made my way back to Miami. The flight was delayed, and and then today, thankfully, I took the day off from work because I don't think I would have been able to survive. So I've been busy. I'm tired. That's one of the reasons why I told my brother, hey, and then obviously we're doing the podcast, the wrestling podcast. So I was like, I thought I could do it all, but I'm like, I need to take a break. So that's the reason why Let Me Talk to You will not be shown tonight, but we'll be back next week unless something happens, unless there's like a game or something that might change the direction, because you will see me probably flying out again. So Let Me Talk to You usually Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. Next week, hopefully we get the show back on. We got to talk because there's a lot of talk about Tua. My boy Chris Greer, I've become a fan. I believe prove it season for Tua. Make it happen, baby. And Sean, can I say one last thing? I know I'm going in a little rant here.
Have I stopped you yet?
All right, I appreciate it. I don't like to address, but I got to address this. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me, Sean. But there's a guy.
Hold on a minute. I got to talk about something. No, I'm just kidding. Go.
There's a fan on the big old radio show. When I come in, he thinks I'm like the biggest Tua hater. And I hope he tunes in. And guys, no doubt, and all you guys who are tuning, tell him to tune into the Squared Circle and to talk. Let me talk to you. Costa Nostra. I don't know who you are, Costa Nostra, but Costa Nostra, you keep coming and saying that I must be enjoying the fact that Tua is this and that and this and that. Look, man, I'm gonna tell you something, Mr. Costa Nostra. I don't know who you are, whether you're a girl or a guy. I don't know who you are. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan for life. I cheer for the Miami Dolphins. I don't cheer for Tua Tagovailoa. I cheer for my Miami Dolphins. I could care less who the quarterback is. I just want them to win. So when I go ahead and complain and say, hey, this about Tua and all that stuff, I have all right because I don't believe in him, but I believe on my team. And just because I don't believe on Tua does not make me a Miami Dolphin fan. I am a Miami Dolphin fan for life. So if you ever want to talk to me, and you ever want to go on the show, get on the show. Hit me up. Send me a message, Mr. Costa Nostra. Come at me, bro. Because I remember last time you were coming and taking shots, and every time I'm on the chat board, he comes and starts talking crap on me. And you know what? That's why we have a platform. So if you want to come on my show or a Squared Circle or wherever you want to come and have a conversation, a civilized conversation, go ahead and tell me, bro. Go ahead and come at me because I'm telling you, I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. I'm not a Tua Tagovailoa fan. Sorry, sir. I had to just get that off my chest. I didn't want to bring it into the Squared Circle Digest, but the wrestling talk just gets me fired up. And so I had to do it to Costa Nostra. And I like Costa Nostra, but he's been taking shots left and right now that I've been in the chat board here and there. So I had to do it. Sorry.
I need you to say, Costa Nostra, I got one more thing for you.
Costa Nostra, I got one last thing for you. See, that's why you're my boy. That's why.
You can follow me at Sean_Stanley11 on X, IG, Threads, and TikTok, at least if it's still going, and Stanley Media House on Facebook and YouTube. Of course, Squared Circle Digest every Tuesday. Content will hopefully start flowing out soon, more soon than ever. I'm thinking out, actually, you know what, believe it or not, I think I'm going to start going live after all the shows.
For wrestling?
Yeah.
Well, hit me up. I'm kind of slow.
I'll throw you the link, and if you join me, you join me. If not, it'll be like 10, 15, 20-minute shows. We'll just go over what we saw and
maybe 8 minutes wants to join.
Yeah, 8 minutes can join. Hit me up. And don't forget, if you would also any comments, complaints, anything, hit me up at Sean_Stanley11 on all the major platforms, X, IG, TikTok, Threads. And I'm going to be back tonight, 10 o'clock. AEW Dynamite is off the air. Squared Circle Digest will be back on the air. Frankie will not be there tonight because he's about to go pass out, and I know for sure he's not going to join me.
No, sir. I am watching that Venezuela-Mexico game. I'm gonna give you an inside scoop, guys. I can't give you inside scoop on the on live, but it's about the betting world. So I'm gonna after we get off a split second, I'm gonna give you a nugget that my brother informed me, and it's gonna help. So tune in, Sean. You and me, we'll talk. Especially since you had my back with Costa Nostra. Watch, I'm gonna give you a nugget, and you'll see what we're doing. It's a win-win. Yeah, it could go anywhere, but yeah.
But we're coming on at 10. What time do they play?
Well, no, I probably won't be on the show, but I'm telling you right now. After we get off the show.
You're not gonna give it to the fans.
No, I can't. I can't give it to the fans.
Oh my goodness,
I can't do it. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do it. But I'm gonna give it a shot. Because he had my back with Costa Nostra.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna act like I hit in-stream people. Keep tuned in. You're gonna see it, and then we're gonna pop back on. Frankie's going to think we're off the air, and he's going to tell us all
how to win money.
And on that note, as the great Gordon Soley says, or used to say, or legendarily said,
I believe,
so long from the sun shine state.
I believe in Joe Henry.